Good afternoon, or evening rather, and welcome to Frankfort High School. I'm Harrison Silcox. Jared Thomas with me this evening for a game between two teams who are looking for their first win in this Indiana high school football season. Our broadcast tonight brought to you by Abstract Technology Group, doing IT differently, making it simple. Day and Genda Funeral Home, putting family first. Fiberhawk, fast, affordable Fiberhawk. Healthy Communities of Clinton County, making the healthy choice the easy choice. The Frankfort Eagles Post 976, people helping people, and the Willow Creek Barn, providing a picturesque setting for the barn wedding of your dreams. Once again, I'm Harrison Silcox as we bring you into our pregame show, brought to you by Day and Genda Funeral Home, putting family first. And our first look at tonight's contest brought to you by the Willow Creek Barn, where nature's beauty meets rustic elegance. Mentioned both these teams do not have a win yet on the season. The Hot Dogs are 0-7, and they're hosting North Montgomery, who has not won in their first 7 games either. Worst start since 1998 for the Chargers. And we'll skip ahead now to our players to watch as I bring in my color commentator, Jared Thomas. Players to watch tonight brought to you by ISC Sports Network. Local lives here. We've got quarterback for North Montgomery, who we will start with, in Jack Warren. He's thrown for 815 yards on the year, but really in the last couple of games, Jared, he's gotten the running game going. Apologies on the technical difficulties as we get working on Jared's mic there, and hopefully can get it up and going here in just a few minutes. Jared, you got me?
Yes, I do.
Maybe? The running game that he's gotten going in the last couple of weeks. Jack Warren, he's got 2 games on the season with 100-plus yards on the ground, those both coming in the last 2 weeks. He's got 391 total on the year, along with 2 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns to go with 8 interceptions on the year, about a 44% completion rate. He's very active in this North Montgomery offense. As Jared, can we welcome you in now? Do I have you?
I think they have me. There we
go.
go.
There's the voice of the wonderful Jared Thomas. Just wrapped up the thoughts on Jack Warren. But as we look at the player of the game for the Frankfort Hot Dogs, it is kind of a do-it-all player in Dennis Barkley. He is played quarterback for this team. He's played running back. They kind of plug him all over the field. Had a pretty solid game against North Montgomery last year, but a versatile asset that the Hot Dogs have on offense.
Yeah, he's been one of the few figureheads at the quarterback position that's been able to step in when needed. Only attempted 6 passes on the season, as you've already stated. Played quarterback a year ago, so that's somebody that Coach Justin Kinsey can go to if need be. Played a little bit last week against North Putnam, more so in the run game. But if he is going to be at the quarterback at any point tonight, then expect for him to take off with his legs a little bit more of a dual threat, being a runner at the quarterback position than a thrower.
We'll see how things shake out. We got your keys to victory coming up after this on ISC Sports Network.
Healthy Communities of Clinton County is committed to reduce the risk factors contributing to chronic disease, including health disparities by decreasing stigma and encouraging positive changes. HCCC is here for the community with systems of care navigators, insurance assistance, prenatal classes, mental health programs, substance use prevention, and more. To help make the healthy choice the easy choice, contact us at 659-6063 or through our website, healthyclintoncounty.org.
In this town, game day starts long before kickoff. It's the work behind the scenes that makes champions. At Tier 1 Meat Company, we prep with the same focus, discipline, and pride as the hometown heroes we feed. From our block to your block, fuel every victory. Tier 1 Meat Company. Mission, feed the fans. Standard, champion quality. Scan the QR code for a game day upgrade.
Day and Genda Funeral Home, proudly putting family first, strives to care and honor the families of Clinton and Carroll County in ways that share the loved one's story. In our effort to serve your family at the highest of quality, we have added our own crematories. One for your loved one and another crematory for your furry family members. Contact us for information on how we can serve your family. Day and Genda Funeral Home, putting family first.
At Wampler's Disposal and Recycling, we take pride in offering waste management for commercial and residential clients. As an industry leader, Wampler's Disposal and Recycling brings the most professional and responsive collection service in the business. Since 1948, our family-owned and operated company has provided excellent service at competitive rates. We offer container rentals as well. Our longevity in the industry is a testament to our excellent service. We serve all of Clinton, Tippecanoe, Boone, Howard, and Carroll counties. For all your waste removal needs, call Wampler Services Incorporated today. You can reach us at 765-659-3721. Visit us online at wamplerservicesinc.com.
Welcome back to our pregame show brought to you by Day and Genda Funeral Home. I'm Harrison Silcox, Jared Thomas with me tonight. And we'll jump right into it, Jared. Keys to victory tonight. You got them up on the screen now. These really apply to both teams, but walk us through them.
Yeah, I think when you're trying to go after your first win of the season, you have to pay a little bit more attention to everything within the game plan. And number one is always going to be no turnovers. Both teams have lost multiple fumbles, a few interceptions given to the other team as well. So taking care of the ball, because that is the most important object tonight. Avoid the negative plays. This is just staying to the chains on first down. If you play behind the chains, then it becomes more of a mountain for you to climb as the drive goes on, and then stay disciplined. I think I saw Jackson Roby a week ago pick up an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the sideline, giving a late hit against a North Putnam Cougar, and it just wasn't necessary. And that's one of the Frankfort Hot Dogs' best players. So this is not just for Jackson Roby, it's for everyone here at Frankfort High School, just to be disciplined and give yourselves a chance, an opportunity to win tonight.
And when I talked with Justin Kinsey, head coach for the Hot Dogs, coming up into this game, he was looking forward. He said we're getting some guys back a little bit more healthy, but he did admit last weekend's game a little bit chippy, and you mentioned it there. So we'll pivot from our keys to victory as both these teams, again, looking for their first win tonight, over into who our officials are. Brought to you by Wampler's Disposal Service and Recycling, where recycling makes sense. Have our 5 officials tonight, 2 of them named Donald. We've got Donald Helmick, Donald Young, Harold Benjamin, Jared Duff, and then Robin Ozenbaugh also out there. And as we also will take a look at our starting lineups, we'll start with the visitors. This is the Chargers starting lineup on offense. Mention the quarterback, Jack Warren. We'll go through his linemen as well. At left tackle, you got Logan Ireland, Styles Goodwin at left guard. In at center, Wyatt Harshbarger, right guard, Hudson Claypool, and then Gage Taylor out there at right tackle. Another player to keep an eye on as far as guys who are going to touch the ball a lot tonight. Out of this Chargers offense, Dakota Glasson is one of those players. 5'6" junior, 155 pounds. He is just starting to come into form as a high school football player at 220 rushing yards last year. He's already eclipsed that number this year, and he's getting some work in the passing game as well. Wears number 4 for North Montgomery. So one of those players to keep an eye on. And then you look at the potential pass catchers in the offense tonight and made that into a tongue twister. Lucky Young wears 85. Tight end Colin Zachary out of the slot. You have Tyler Thompson. And then Clayton Brown, just a sophomore wide receiver, but leads this team in receiving yards. And now over to the North Montgomery defense. You got 4 guys down on the line of scrimmage, 3 linebackers in there, and then your secondary made up of 2 corners and then a pair of safeties. So rushing off one of the ends is Lane Barnett, and then the interior of the line of scrimmage, Jack Kalen, Noah Fiddler, and then when you get back out to the outside, Braylon Denham, the other defensive end there, a junior, 6'1", 215 pounds in pursuit of the quarterback all night long. Your 3 linebackers, Hunter Powell and Mason Mills, the 2 players along the outside. And then in at your middle linebacker spot, Lincoln Heide, sophomore, 6'3", 185 pounds, looks to command the defense. And then the back end, your 2 cornerbacks, Payson Frazier and Eli Peebles. And then your 2 safeties, Zach Craig and Caden Cohey. And that rounds out your starters for the North Montgomery Chargers. And now for the Frankfort Hot Dogs, Kiefer Dooley mentioned as the starting quarterback. Could have a couple different players tonight, though, coming in to take snaps under center, Thomas Maddox being one of them, and then Dennis Barkley, we talked in the pregame. He'll get reps at quarterback at times tonight, so something to keep an eye on. We've got a couple different players who could be taking handoffs tonight as well. James Lozano being one of them, Hayden Shipley another, and then Darren Barkley. You'll see him line up at wide receiver. He's also going to look to get some targets in the passing game, as well as you'll see him swing from one side of the field to the other for some sweeps. And then Taylor Xavier also getting reps, and Kenzie Broderick, one of your tight ends. And then as you get into the offensive line, your left tackle, Cook Cameron, left guard, Benny Chuka. I'm going backwards at the name, so it's Cameron Cook, and then Benny Chuka. Your center, Trey Seward, right guard, Dominic Hoskins, right tackle, Jaden Boggs to round things out. Then flipping over to the defensive side of the ball for the Hot Dogs off defensive end. You got a couple of familiar names here. Not uncommon for guys to play both ways in high school ball. Benny Chuka, one of your defensive ends on the interior. Luis Madera and Jaden Boggs. And then also the other end, Logan Barker. As you get in the linebacking core of this group, Dennis Barkley will get plenty of snaps. Frank Vega as well. Naaman Martinez as the third linebacker in there. And then when you get to the end of this defense, Darren Barkley and Quincy Allen, your two cornerbacks. Allen's been very active in all phases of the game thus far this season. Jackson Roby was mentioned just a moment ago by Jared as one of the key contributors defensively for this team. And then Jaden Davis, those are your two safeties as we finish up your starting lineups. Again, that is brought to you by Ardente Dental. Healthy smiles start here. So we're just a few minutes away from kickoff, Jared, as I bring you back into the fray here. And there's a lot of interesting storylines I think you can go into this game with. Obviously, you look at the records for both these teams, you don't see a win there. But you don't want to be quick to judge there because there are guys who can contribute. And I think what makes this interesting is you probably have two groups offensively here who feel like they're starting to find their footing a little bit in terms of what they want to accomplish. Last week, to start with Frankfort, they scored 2 touchdowns. Doesn't sound like a lot, but for them, you talk about a team that's looking for some progress. That's the most touchdowns they've had in a game this season so far, so they're probably looking to roll on some of that momentum from last week.
Harrison, that's exactly right. 20 points scored total this season for the Frankfort Hot Dogs on offense, and 60% of those points came last week in a game that happened on homecoming night and had so many people in the stands fired up to see their team go out and execute and feel like that they were part of a game in that first half. And then it was just the Cougars of North Putnam putting up a blanketed effort with a 28-0 score in that second half where that game really got out of hand. But I believe Coach Kinsey and his group feels like they showed some flashes. Now it's just about when you establish a foundation of what you can do offensively, now finding the rhythm and staying consistent with that. And obviously in high school football, you have another opportunity as you go into the back part of this season with only 2 games left and then into the playoffs.
And as we look at North Montgomery, the Chargers head coach Josh Thompson, he's in his 12th season with this team. 57-67 is his all-time record there. And so they're looking for their first win of the year. I mentioned a few minutes ago, 0-7. It's the worst start that this team has had going back to 1998. But as you look at what's happened with this offense in the last 2 weeks, you had a 1-score loss to Greencastle, 48-42. Tough loss to Crawfordsville, 39-28 was the final there. Their first loss to Crawfordsville since 2011. But I point out those 2 games is because you've got Dakota Glasson, their running back, and their quarterback Jack Warren have combined for 630 rushing yards the last 2 games. That is something, especially out of the quarterback position. They were not getting that rushing production the first 5 games of the year until they got to the last 2 weeks. So that's kind of the momentum there as you look at the Chargers, is maybe have they started to figure something out offensively? Yeah,
I would venture to say that the reason that is a glaring spotlight and highlight for this Chargers team is because for Jack Warren, 111 carries, 391 rushing yards on the season. So when you think about what he's done in the last 2 weeks, 63 carries, 386 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns, 2 of those games having 100-plus rushing yards and success on the ground. That's really him getting it done for the Chargers at the quarterback position and in the run game for an offense that didn't see much success, only scoring 68 total points in the first 5 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, they've scored 70. And then alongside with Jack Warren, as you've already mentioned, Dakota Glasson, 340 yards the last 2 weeks, 4 touchdowns on 44 carries, averaging 170 yards per game. So to say they found the rhythm would be accurate. Now they're just looking to find that rhythm, and that equate to a win.
I'll try to put you in the mindset of the players here. You played ball yourself, both high school ball here in Indiana. You went on to play Big Ten football. Still playing now. So you understand, right, what these players are going through at this level of the game because you've been there and beyond. When you're trying to get out of a funk or snap a losing streak and you see an opportunity to do that in tonight if you're on both of these sidelines, right? Now that one of these teams on to come in this game being 0-7, but when you're a player, what's that mentality like when it's like, hey, tonight's the night, we could do this. We could snap this streak. We could do whatever. What's that feeling like as a player?
There's a shot of dopamine that happens when you go out and execute a game plan and you get into the win column. That means so much to you personally, to the team collectively, and the psyche of everyone involved cheering for you to go get the win. So when you actually are able to get that done, it means the entire world to you. And as I said, that shot of dopamine then allows you to feel the need to have a sense of urgency to go and do it again. So when you haven't done it this entire season, you're just looking for that first opportunity to just celebrate all of the hard work that you've done up into this point, all of the agony that have gone into the losses, and just trying to find a way to get in the win column. So for both teams, I would just encourage them to continue to enjoy these moments as high school football players. As I look back in my time as a player in high school, I wish I could go back. I enjoyed myself. I didn't take anything for granted, but there's something that's just a little bit different about playing high school football on Friday nights, that no matter what the record is or what you did or how much success you had as a team, you will always come back to these memories. So just enjoy it and relish in it. And
it's important a message to remember tonight being senior night as well. So plenty of players on this Frankfort sideline that are, playing their last home game for this team. And I think it's a good point. Regardless of the record, wins, losses, whatever it may be, these are moments in your life you're never going to be able to get back, so it's important to cherish them. And if you're the Hot Dogs, they're hoping to cherish a victory tonight as well. It's a losing streak for this team that goes back to fall of 2023. They went 0-10 last year. And Justin Kinsey would like to celebrate his first win since taking over as head coach for the Hot Dogs. Now, we'll see if they're able to put that game plan together, take advantage of that shot of dopamine that you mentioned, Jared, and walk off the field with a victory tonight. It has been since 2020 since they defeated North Montgomery, as the coin toss has just wrapped up, and both sidelines trying to get themselves fired up for this one. I want to go back to the keys of the game for just a second, Jared, as we await both the teams to line up for the kickoff here. There's probably a little bit of extra energy coming into this one. You look at both these teams' schedules, and they've got games against teams that are, in the top 5 ranking, in the state and their class, whatever it may be. And those games, I imagine as a player, right, you're going to go out there and you're going to compete week in and week out. But there's also, right, when you have the perspective, it's like, man, this is going to be a tough battle. But then when you look at this one, there's probably a little bit more of that energy in this one, just knowing like, hey, like we can get one here, boys. So you want to kind of hone in that energy, but stay disciplined was one of those keys to the game. As you see it back on the screen again, how do you control that energy and not wind up, coming in late on a play or something like that, or doing a little bit too much as a player that winds up hurting your team?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right about when you're looking ahead on the schedule, because all players do it. You circle games on the schedule that you feel based off of the structure in place of your team that you should go out and take care of business, and it's almost a guaranteed win. And it's not until you start losing that you really take a time to self-reflect and say, wait, we actually have to get things under control. So I would actually say what you just said is spot on, looking ahead to getting a win. But then I would say take a step back and say focusing in the moment for each play that's right in front of you is only going to be the best recipe for you to go out and actually execute to win.
So it'll be North Montgomery to receive the kick, as they will be trying to execute for that win themselves. Clayton Brown and Dakota Glasson are the 2 men back to potentially return this one, as Logan Lights will try to have the leg to get it to him for the Hot Dogs. Light will put his laces through, try the onside kick to start, and a great heads-up play by Styles Godwin to get his hands on the football and just go straight down. So the Hot Dogs trying to get one by the Chargers, and it didn't quite work out. And now at the 45-yard line, North Montgomery is going to get some pretty good field position on their opening drive.
But Harrison, how fitting that on senior night to open up the game, a senior, albeit for the wrong team, gets the party started with an onside kick recovery. Offensive lineman doing a nice job for the Chargers, getting some nice field position.
That's a great heads-up play by Godwin to track that down. I'm sure that was the last thing he was expecting, but you got to stay ready for anything. So here is our first look at Jack Warren, as well as Dakota Glasson, who will now stand to the left of Warren as he awaits the snap. It'll be a carry straight up the middle. Warren's going to lose the football. It's down on the grass. Officials are going to have to come in and sort things out, and it's going to be hot dog ball. As there's a look at Glasson coughing up the opening snap, and straight out on offense goes Frankfort. You talk about some much-needed momentum on senior night after the failed onside kick, and now look who's got good field position. It's the home team.
And I think that has to be credited to Francisco Vega coming in, not going for the tackle, but actually going for the football and connected, got it down on the grass, and all the hot dogs came and rallied to recover it.
Here's Dooley under center. Now, right away, we get a look at the other team's quarterback. Barkley goes in motion. It's Vega who gets the carry, tries to truck his way forward, and will pick up about 5 yards. Second down on the way.
Up until about a couple of weeks ago, Francisco was actually the third featured running back in this offense, had 30 carries for 66 yards on the ground, but missed the last couple of weeks with some injuries. So I'm sure a welcome sight for him and all the hot dogs, seeing him back out there and already making an impact on defense and for the first play from scrimmage offensively.
Yeah, it's a good chunk to pick up as you got a couple of receivers bunched out to the left. And this pitch goes out wide. And up the sideline is Davis. He gets across the first down marker as well, and a fresh set of downs and a very positive start for Frankfort tonight.
The Chargers 100% have to be aware of where Jaden Davis is at all times, especially when you consider a lot of his rushing yards came last week, 80 yards to pay dirt via a touchdown. So anytime he gets that jet sweep, all eyes have to be glued to number 4.
Now with a brand new set of downs. Hot Dogs with some early momentum in this one as Davis went in motion. Dooley looked like maybe he was going to keep, but actually it was a handoff to Danny Jaycox, who got stuffed in the backfield. So behind the sticks this time after the first down play, loss of a couple.
Noah Fiddler doing a nice job getting in the backfield, doing his job, taking care of the dive, as you saw there, tackling the dive key whether he has the ball or not, because everyone can trickle off of that, but they didn't need to because it was the 2-yard TFL for Noah Fiddler.
The two defenses that have struggled so far on the season. As it's another handoff, straight up the middle, and falling forward for really no gain on the play was Jaycox once again.
It's Lincoln Hyde, the outside linebacker, sophomore, 3-sport athlete. He's going to be all over the field, leads them in tackles on the defensive side of the ball. So the Hot Dogs going to have to do a good job pinpointing where Mr. Hyde is at all times.
So Jaycox, who has a touchdown on the season, jogs over to the sideline. One negative play and one play that went nowhere. Now it's 3rd and long. Dooley goes back under center. A chunk play needed here for the Hot Dogs in Charger territory. Dooley will drop back to pass. Lob one deep downfield, but this is blown dead as we might have had some early movement by Frankfort on the play. Flags down the far side of the field, and it is a false start.
Procedural things, it'll get you every single time. Don't even put yourself in position to make some explosive plays down the field when it's always at the start where you're accruing some errors. So not a great start on this first drive when you get into 3rd and forever for the Hot Dogs.
It was Jaden Davis, one of those players with a touchdown last week. Moved a little bit early. So breaking the huddle, 3rd and even longer now for Frankfort. So such a positive start to the drive. They recovered the glass and fumble, but then things stalled out a little bit, and that penalty doesn't help anything at all. And some early movement along the line of scrimmage from the Chargers, but the snap was not let off. They were able to jump back behind the line of scrimmage just in time. Here goes the motion again. It's Barkley who moves, and it's Vega, I believe, got the handoff up the guts, and the Chargers all over it. A whole mess of tacklers getting up off the field, dusting themselves off, and the punting unit will come out now for the first time today for Frankfort.
If you're North Montgomery, you know that you can be aggressive to defend the run just because the Hot Dogs don't present a down-the-field passing threat. So all the defensive linemen thus far for the charging Chargers keyed in on all backfield actions.
So it was Dennis Barkley who actually rose from the cloud of dust there. I believe he was the one who carried that. As Light looks to punt, this one goes high and to the right, bounces and stays in right at about the 23-yard line. That's where the Chargers will get the ball back. They've had one snap on offense. It was a fumble. We will see what they can do on this next drive. Jared, your early impressions of the Frankfurt offense there started off promising, just stalled a little bit.
Yeah, they just don't have the ability to really push the ball down the field. All of their success last week, although one of those explosive plays came in the pass game, that's not something that is part of their consistent identity. So their game is going to be slow and methodical, and they had some good things going in the early parts, but some penalties and some tackles for losses in the backfield put them behind the chain. So I know Coach Kinsey and his group going to look to regroup when they get the ball back.
So Jack Warren will line up out of the shotgun. He's got his running back to his left, and Glasson will get the carry. Good faith shown from the coaches as he's got some space out right and is pushed out of bounds at the tail end of the play by Barkley. So that is a much better first down snap than it was last go-around for the Chargers.
And as we talked about the keys to victory tonight, no turnovers, staying disciplined. 2 out of those 3 already violated by the Chargers, but they have to tip their cap to the defense, getting a stop in the middle of the field when it looked like they were compromised, and now they have another opportunity to make things right after that first drive dismal.
Here is Warren with a couple wide receivers near side. Glasson this time to the other side of him. Warren will keep it himself. Room to run forward across the first down marker before he gets pushed back down to the turf. Jackson Roby, one of the players, getting up after making the tackle for the Hot Dogs, but a new set of downs on the way for North Montgomery.
Once again, you have to note that quarterback Jack Warren carried the ball before 2 weeks ago 68 times, and that's a guy that only got 5 yards, a lot of negative yards, a lot of that accrued in sack yardage. So someone that's really got it going with his legs and has really been the can opener for this offense.
Yeah, 74% of his rushing yards in the season have come in the last 2 weeks. To give you just an idea of how explosive his legs have become as Glasson gets the carry. Pad level lowers at the line of scrimmage as he carries a couple bodies forward. Another good pickup, 5+ yards in that play. Looks like a 2nd and 4 upcoming.
When you come on the road in any football environment, you want to get everyone's nerves nice and eased. And Coach Thompson and his group doing a nice job leaning on the run game despite the mistake on the first drive, still staying at it with the run field action coming out of the backfield.
Warren in no rush as he takes the clean snap. This time heaves it downfield. That's his leading receiver who catches it and stumbles just right around at the 15-yard line. And Clayton Brown, who just separates from the defensive back down the sideline. And he was thinking 6 before he caught that ball, but his legs just couldn't keep up with the upper body. But a huge play, our first explosive one of the night.
Those watching, if you're wondering why Clayton Brown was so open, it's simply because when Darren Barkley looks into the backfield expecting run, he gets caught looking for a tad bit longer than everyone would have liked him to, and that was just enough time for Brown to get behind him.
Glasson on the pitch to the right, runs right into one of his own blockers, but a nice pickup on the plays. He carries inside the 5-yard line. Chargers knocking on the door, 6.5 left to play in the opening quarter.
Right back to the run game after an explosive play. Let's get back to the bread and butter. Pitches a nice lead block by Hudson Claypool, trying to capture the right edge and gets it down underneath the 5-yard line as they continue to approach that goal line for the first score.
Tyler Thompson, Lucky Young, the 2 wide receivers on the near side. The man you just mentioned who set a great block on the edge is still out on that right side as Glasson gets a pitch to the other direction and carries this one into the end zone. A flag comes out late on the play just as Glasson crossed the goal line. So we will await word from the official.
And I have a sneaky suspicion of who that is going to be on. That's going to be wide receiver Colin Zachary on the edge right there. Grabs some jersey, and I'm sure that was not what the official was looking for on that potential touchdown. Brought him back for minus 10 yards on the holding call.
So that brings up 2nd and goal with the ball at the 11-yard line. Clock just under 20 seconds as Warren waits for the snap again. Glasson's gotten the ball handed in his direction the last 2 snaps and picks it up that time straight up the middle. Room to run, and Glasson nearly untouched carries it into the end zone, and the Chargers score first tonight. Glasson into the end zone for the first time this evening.
So what do they do after Colin Zachary just picked up a penalty holding? They lead block with him again, just a guard, tight end, counter play, and escorted Glasson into the end zone for the first score of the game and his 5th in 3 weeks.
And so it looks like we're going to get a 2-point conversion coming out here. Kicking game, you never know what you're going to get sometimes in high school football. It makes games a little bit more interesting when some teams opt to go for 2 more often than not. And that's exactly what we're going to get here from the Chargers. 5:47 left to play in the first quarter. They've already got a touchdown. Can they get the 2-point conversion to go as well? Out to the tight end, and it's hauled in by Colin Zachary. He's got 2 touchdowns on the season. Successful 2-point conversion that time around. And 8-0, North Montgomery takes the lead. And how will Frankfort respond? We will see after the break of the ISC Sports Network. Welcome back to Frankfort High School. The broadcast tonight brought to you by the Frankfort Eagles. The Frankfort Eagles post 976, serving our community since 1905 with over 900 members locally. The Frankfort Eagles offer something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, please visit FOE.com or stop by 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. And then also Dane Genda Funeral Home. Tonight's game brought to you by Dane Genda Funeral Home with locations in Frankfort, Flora, Mulberry, and Rossville. The compassionate and experienced staff at Dane Genda Funeral Home are dedicated to providing a loving and genuine. And right in the middle of the live read, we have got the Chargers recovering the kick. As Joe will have all sorts of thoughts on that in just a moment, but back to Dane Genda Funeral Home. They're dedicated to providing a loving and genuine environment for you to honor your loved one. For more information on our services and community involvement, please visit dayandgenda.com. It's Dane Genda Funeral Homes, where we put family first. Joe, you had eyes all over that play. Big moment there for the Chargers. How'd they come up with pigskin?
Just an onside kick that went right over the head of Trey McCullum. The sophomore had no idea what to do. Felt like the charging Chargers almost picked on him just a little bit. And just as we saw, the last 2 plays of that drive, Colin Zachary picking up the holding call, then vindicating himself, getting the lead block up and through the hole for the touchdown, and then getting the 2-point conversion. He is the one that comes up with the onside kick recovery. Once again, going back to the second half with the Frankfort Hot Dogs against the North Putnam Cougars, looking like a deer in headlights continued from that second half, and so far into this one, they had the ball after a turnover, and so far not so much luck as the charging Chargers are back on the field offensively once again.
Those are the thoughts of Jared Thomas on the analysis tonight. Doing great work keeping track of the football there on the onside kick. So it's Chargers ball in hot dog territory on a 1st and 10. Warren surveys and goes deep. He's got a man. It is caught and taken across the goal line for another touchdown. Lucky Young with his first touchdown of the season.
There's only been 4 players that have received receiving touchdowns on this season, but I actually will hold that point because it looks like
We've got some laundry on the field. No, it's going to go against the Hot Dogs, it looked like.
Roughing the passer penalty, but that is now the 5th different receiver that has gotten a receiving touchdown, not named Dakota Glasson, Clayton Brown, Hunter Powell, or Eli Peebles. That's actually Lucky Young, the junior, inserting himself into the receiving touchdown column, once again getting behind that Frankfort defense, taking another score up top.
So North Montgomery's got a 14-0 lead, as Jack Warren's gone deep a couple of times tonight and has found his receiver on the other end both times. Earlier in the quarter, it was Clayton Brown with a big reception. He stumbled on his way, getting closer to the end zone right around the 5-yard line. This time, Lucky Young is able to keep his feet underneath him for the score. The 2-point conversion coming up after the touchdown from the junior. Pretty widespread there as Warren just decided to take it himself. He'll cross the goal line for a successful 2-point conversion. And just like that, 16-0 Chargers in front. 5:40 left to play here in our opening quarter. And while we wait for the kickoff units to come out, I got to keep my head in a swivel here after. We've had 2 kickoffs. They've both been onside kicks, Jared. But anyways, broadcast tonight brought to you by Healthy Communities of Clinton County. They offer free navigation services for all pregnant women. A licensed nurse is available to help you with free pregnancy tests and prenatal vitamins, insurance assistance, prenatal appointment assistance, smoking or vaping cessation, breastfeeding, labor, delivery, safe sleep, car seat, and newborn care education. And give Libby a call at 765-659-6063 for more information. And then also the Willow Creek Barn. Attention all engaged couples. Discover why the Willow Creek Barn has been voted the Knott's Best of Weddings for 4 years in a row. Nestled just outside Frankfort, Indiana. Our venue offers stunning indoor and outdoor ceremony options with breathtaking photo opportunities. We provide the perfect backdrop for your dream barn wedding. To start planning your unforgettable day, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com. And so friendly kickoff position coming up here for the Chargers from the Hot Dogs 45. They will boot it away. Try another onside kick. A bounce right over a Hot Dog player into the hands of another. And based on no celebration coming here from the Chargers, I'm going to assume the Hot Dogs came away with the football, and it looks like they did just that. Hayden Shipley is the player who was able to get his hands on it and keep possession. So the Hot Dogs, they picked up a first down on their opening drive on offense before it stalled, and they wound up having to punt. So here they are again. They've had a little bit of extra time to rest, at least some of the offensive-only players, after the Chargers recovered that last onside kick to score their second touchdown of the night in the following play. So down by 16. It's Kiefer Dooley under center once again. Vega is the tailback as Barkley goes in motion. Dooley will keep, body his way forward, and not get very far.
It's worth noting that the one downside of this offense for the Hot Dogs is they've only completed 10 passes on the season. You think about that staggering number. This is now game number 8. When you only complete 10 passes, you're really not a threat to push the ball down the field, nor are you a threat to consistently complete passes to receivers. So when you get down big in ball games, you don't have a one-play trick to get you back into the game. You have to kind of stay with the chop wood and carry water model thus far. So let's see if they can get the run game going.
Barkley on the pitch trying to do just that, Jared, but he gets trapped along that sideline. It picks up a little bit, but has to run out of bounds. And now it is third down and about 4 yards to pick up the first. Ball spotted right at the Hot Dog zone 30. So 0 for 1 so far tonight on third down is Frankfort. And it's shotgun formation for Dooley. As the man goes in motion, bad snap. Dooley just falls on top of it. Fourth down on the way for the Hot Dogs. It's a team that has not spent a lot of time out of the shotgun formation. Had to do it there. It's an obvious passing situation. And just a bad snap there. Goes right past Dooley. And does the right thing in protecting the football. Last thing you want to do is give up field position in this space, but I'm sure that had to feel a little bit deflating for that Frankfort offense.
Things just coming at inopportune times for the Hot Dogs, not clicking on all cylinders. And that's not just making plays. That's picking up pre-snap penalties. That's procedural things, as you see with the botch snap, staying on the ground in the shotgun. And that's also a short kick that doesn't pass the 50 and stays into advantageous field position for North Montgomery.
Yeah, so the ball will stay on this end of the field. Only went 4 yards, or 5 yards, beyond the line of scrimmage.
Hey, Richard, do you have a extra pin up there?
Have to play here in the opening quarter, 16-0. Chargers hoping to add to that lead and get their first win of the season. Touchdown so far coming from Dakota Glaston and Lucky Young. One of them a rushing touchdown, another one a passing touchdown off the fingertips of Jack Warren, who's been excellent here in the opening 15, or opening 12. "20 seconds to get the snap off. Warren talking things through with his offensive line before he does just that. As Brown goes in motion, will come away with the football, gets a block from Glasson on the edge, and working that sideline, he'll eventually get pushed out of play. A nice first down gain from the sophomore.
Out of 11 completed seasons for Coach Josh Thompson, 6 of those have been at 500 or better. So when you look at this team that's 0-7, you don't really get the sense that they are winless this season, but there is formula and DNA in place for them to get back to their winning ways. It's just about staying at it. Sometimes you run into a buzzsaw of competition like they have this year and haven't been so fortunate to get in the W column, but so far outside of the first mistake from scrimmage, doing a nice job responding to adversity.
Similar play, but it was play action that time as Warren finds his running back under pressure, and Glasson finally getting brought down to the ground at the end of the play. This was a good job by the quarterback under pressure, somehow able to get that throw off inaccurately as you get another look at it.
But going to the boundary, really putting Darren Barkley in a world of trouble being the boundary defender. Just a high-low route concept. Had Glasson in the flat. Also had Colin Zachary over the top, something that they've already taken advantage of, pushing the ball down the field. Warren elects to go with the easy gimme and gets a first down because of it.
Tyler Thompson in at running back now. As he steps up to the left of Warren. Quarterback run all the way. Warren slippery through the middle of that interior offensive line and then eventually brought down just shy of that first down marker. Another solid pickup on first down for this Chargers offense.
It's pretty evident what type of game plan the charging Chargers have once they get into scoring position, which is the 25 yards mark and under. And that's put the ball into Jack Warren's hands as a runner because you control the field. Everyone's so paid attention to all the other threats that they have receiving, and Dakota Glasson take advantage of the +1 runs with the quarterback and Jack Warren.
It's about 10 seconds to get the snap off here now as Warren's in the shotgun once again. Option this time around as Glasson cuts it back upfield and pursuits for the goal line and does so successfully. That is a third straight touchdown for the North Montgomery offense.
Jack Warren catches the snap, puts the defender in a tough bind, gets him to commit, and then gets it to his playmaker for his second touchdown of the game. This run game doing a nice job once again, playing off of the threat that Jack Warren poses as the quarterback with the football in his hands.
That is the second rushing touchdown of the night for Glasson. Just over 2 minutes left to play here in the first quarter as they'll line up for yet another two-point conversion. Similar formation that we've seen for most of the night. Obviously, Warren in at quarterback and a running back either to his right or left. And Warren throw off the play action. He'll find his big man inside across the end zone. So a successful two-point conversion, I believe. And so 24-0, the Chargers extending that lead here early on.
James Lozano got caught with the run fake in the backfield, and it's not hard to miss a 6'4" receiver like Colin Zachary, who's been all over the field tonight, especially with the catch radius that he presents to his quarterback and Jack Warren. They connect for another two-point conversion.
So 24-0, Chargers are smelling the end of that losing streak. As we want to remind you, tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Willow Creek Barn. Attention all engaged couples, discover why the Willow Creek Barn has been voted the Knott's Best of Weddings for 4 years in a row. Nestled just outside of Frankfort, Indiana, our venue offers stunning indoor and outdoor ceremony options with breathtaking photo opportunities. Provide the perfect backdrop for your dream barn wedding. To start planning your unforgettable day, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com. I'm Harrison Silcox. It is Jared Thomas with me this evening in Frankfort, Indiana. Obviously not the start the Hot Dogs wanted, but there's always opportunities to improve on your offense and what you're able to accomplish each time you get the ball as they look to do that here once more. Unless we get another little onside kick here, and it goes out to the left, and that is covered up nicely by Frankfort. So they will wind up getting the football.
I love the fact that Frankfort and Coach Justin Kinsey kept Trey McCullum out there on the front lines of that kickoff return coverage unit just because the last time the ball went over his head and the young man looked lost out there, but that time was a bit more aggressive and went and attacked the football and got his offense the ball back just 1 yard shy of the 50-yard line.
Yeah, so starting their own territory, but at the 49. So they've had, of their 3 offensive possessions so far tonight, 2 of them have been right around midfield. It's very similar field position to their opening drive of the night, in which they got a first down on that drive before things kind of stalled out after a penalty and a run that didn't get that far behind the line of scrimmage. This is Darren Barkley, who's maybe loses a yard on the play as a whole platoon of tacklers found him and took him down immediately.
That was Mason Mills that shot the gap nicely there and wore the brunt of that hit as Darren Barkley was carrying the football, and all the other North Montgomery defenders landed on top of him. He looks to be okay, but a nice job there just being a block destructor on the perimeter.
Yeah, so far, it really gave up a couple of chunk runs on that opening drive, but the Chargers defense been pretty smothering here. As Dennis Barkley, we highlighted him in the pregame. He's in at running back on this snap. Dooley looking back to throw. Goes out to his running back above his head. Barkley got a glove on it, but not able to haul it in. Now 3rd and 11. As the Hot Dogs got behind the sticks early on this drive and now quite the hole to dig themselves out of. They're over 2 on 3rd down thus far.
When I look at this pass from Kiefer Dooley, the senior quarterback has thrown for 133 yards this season, but it could have been a lot more. He's just not been able to consistently and accurately present the ball to his receivers. It's been overthrows. It's been easy shots like that to Barkley in the flat that have just been lofted over the heads of his receivers. So I would imagine if he can get that accuracy down, he'd be a lot more effective with his completion percentage and his connection to receivers.
3 receivers on the near side, but Dooley tried to get the ball out over to Jaden Davis. Had several coverage around it, or a lot of people in coverage around him. As the pass fell incomplete, Dooley had a conversation with the official afterwards, but that is a 3 and out for the Hot Dogs offense, who will be punting back away. It is Light who comes out to punt. And last time out did not have the furthest traveling football. We'll see what he can do this time around with the right leg. Caden Coey back to return for the Chargers. Great punt here from Light as Coey gets his hands underneath it, has a chance to return it. Shakes one tackler as he goes out to the right side, trying to elude more in a foot race down the sideline. Across the 50 he goes. He's got a blocker downfield as he cuts it back inside. Tugged on the jersey, but he stays up on his feet with a flag coming in late. Brought down right around the 20-yard line was Coey on a massive punt return. And we'll see who this flag is going to go against.
Although this is going to come back due to some type of play behind the football, Cohey showing the speed down the sideline, just outran the entire defense and almost got out of a hand tackle by James Lozano, and it wasn't until the rest of the Frankfort team caught up that actually got Cohey down, but a nice job on special teams. The defensive ace doing a nice job in the margins.
And that third phase of the game you can never forget about, but it was a holding on the returning team, which you said it was going to walk this one back, and that's exactly what is going to happen. As the official makes the signal toward the home fans, so a 1st and 10, but just not exactly where the Chargers were hoping to get the ball to start here on this possession. With 57 seconds left to play in the first quarter, Chargers already leading 24-0. And a couple of big explosive plays we've seen from this offense here in the last couple of drives. Using the strong arm of their quarterback, but you can't forget about the running game as well. That has been just an efficient machine here in the first quarter.
Frankfort just really hasn't had any answer for this offense outside of forcing a fumble by Francisco Vega on the first drive. It's been all North Montgomery since.
Klassen, the player who's fumbled, he's done more than make up for that with 2 touchdowns on the night as he gets another carry here. 1st down and then some. Right across the 40-yard line. 1 snap. All they needed was 5 yards to get into hot dog territory. And you see here they got a whole lot more than just that.
But look at Hudson Claypool get out on the perimeter, chasing down defenders in the secondary. Had one hand on Darren Barkley, doing a nice job from the center position, right guard position, doing a nice job being a lead blocker for Glassing out on the perimeter.
So Warren back out. They start off looking like they're going to be in a bit of a pistol formation. Warren talks to the offensive line, and then the running back will either stand along his right or left shoulder as Glasson now moves to the left shoulder of Warren. 15 seconds left about here in the first quarter. Glasson gets the carry up the right side once again. Blockers to work with as the flag comes in the air. Glasson got across the 1st down marker and inside the 30. But this is going to be holding on the offense once more.
That's one thing that you have to just live with when you are a run-dominant team. Sometimes you're going to pick up some illegal penalties down the field, holding, blocks in the back, guys just straining to finish in the run game because they understand that if we're all bought in being blockers for our team, we have a lot of success. But sometimes those penalties get the best of you. But something that I'm sure Coach Thompson lives with, understanding what they can get back on the very next play.
So pushed back to the 49-yard line, still in hot dog territory, a 1st and 20. Just 10 seconds left on the clock here in the first quarter. That clock will run, and we'll see if the Chargers get a play off or if they just decide to wait and get the ball in the second quarter. 2 seconds to get the snap off. They will not do it. First quarter in the books, 24-0. Chargers will be pleased with how they opened things with a big lead. Second quarter coming up next on the ISC Sports Network.
Running a small business. Your hands are full. We can help. FiberHawk partners with local companies by providing business-class internet, phone, TV, and customized bundles to meet your needs. Our fiber-powered system delivers reliable speed with enhanced security. Running a business is tough. Contact FiberHawk today and let our expert team give you a hand.
Frankfurt Eagles 976 has bingo every Wednesday night. Early birds beginning at 6 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 7 p.m. Packets are $25 and includes every game you need to play. They also have Saturday bingo the first Saturday of every month, with early birds starting at 4 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 5 p.m. Big game payouts each game with 3 to 4 chances to win different jackpot games each day. Great for individuals or groups because everyone enjoys winning lots of money. You must be 18 years or older to play.
Welcome back to Frankfurt High School. Flip the field. Chargers going to be working left to right now. I'm Harrison Silcox with you this evening. Jared Thomas alongside with me here up in the press box, and we've gotten a good show of what this Chargers offense can do when they are clicking. Already 24 points with 12 minutes of this game in the books. Jack Warren has had a very efficient night so far at quarterback. Tyler Thompson standing next to him this time in the backfield. 2 receivers out to the far side as Warren will pass. Find Glasson, his running back, who lined up out wide. And he's got room to run as he's sprinting across. Well, not quite the first down marker. Gets close to it. That was a 1st and 20 play that they had lined up for. So a very efficient gain as you go from 1st and 20 to 2nd and short.
But the best thing Dakota Glasson did there was allow Tyler Thompson to set his block up inside out, providing a run lane on his right shoulder, which was to the inside. And once Glasson did that, he was able to just run past the rest of the hot dog defense.
And the workload continues for Glasson tonight. No shortage in touches for the running back. And that time he was a pass catcher coming into this one at 23 receptions and over 200 yards. As this time up the gut he goes, shedding a tackler on his way to about the 20-yard line. Another good gain there for the running back.
You can see the junior just setting up all of his cuts with a good foreshadowing effort, just getting defenders to commit and then sticking his foot in the ground, continuing to gain traction going north and south while making defenders miss at the same time.
Making defenders miss, shaking tackles as well. From up here, I wasn't a football player myself, but he looks like a difficult guy to tackle at this level of ball. And just in his junior year, had over 200 yards last year, over 500 coming to this one on the season. Glasson's going to be trying to push to get over 600 by the end of the night if he's not already there. That was a short gain on the night, not a gain at all actually. Wound up losing a yard from where he was knocked down. Good play by the Hot Dogs defense. You had 2 guys in there making that stop, but you got a good look on the replay. 10:20 left to play here in the second quarter.
Frankfurt doing their best group effort project, getting Glasson down to the ground. As you said, he appears to be hard to get down when he's only standing at 5'6". He's already short to the ground, and he's quick. Presents a lot of problems for opposing defenses trying to get him down.
There's Clayton Brown, who was sent in motion, got a block on the edge as he carries it on the sweep and across the first down marker. The sophomore goes. Another good pickup. That's a nice little play they've got in the bag there, where they send their wide receiver in motion. We've seen them go play action out of that look. That's the second carry that Clayton Brown has had tonight out of that sweep from one side of the field to the other.
but there's a trade-off of responsibilities there. Glasson, usually the beneficiary of getting carries and handoffs from the quarterback, that time being a lead blocker for Clayton Brown, and it's not always laying the punishment on a defender. It's sometimes just getting in the defender's way just long enough, and that's exactly what Glasson did, getting in the way of Dennis Barkley, paving the way for his partner to get some more yards.
Another carry for Glasson, stopped right at the goal line. Roby there on the touchdown-saving tackle, but this is going to be 2nd and goal. After that, as you get another look at the Roby stop, just finding a man, grabbing him by the shoulder pads and hanging on for dear life.
Have to give the officials a lot of credit there. Sometimes when you see such a jarring play from the neck up go in that type of fashion, you just almost 100% expect a penalty to be called. But Jackson Roby doing a nice job tackling in legal position, preventing the touchdown.
This time the handoff goes to Tyler Thompson. Second time on that drive, he's lined up in the backfield. This time around, it results in a touchdown as he got the carry. And that's another 6 points on the board. Score climbs up to 30 for the visitors. And they're going to try to go for 2, you'd imagine, once more. That's what they've done all night long, assuming they're not going to break tendencies. This is North Montgomery with a commanding lead in a battle of 0-7 teams.
Tyler Thompson, known for his production in the receiving game, 4 catches for 72 yards on the season, but that time receiving a handoff on the 1-yard line, plunges forward for his first rushing touchdown of the season.
First touchdown overall, too, so you got to imagine Thompson pretty pleased with how this first half has gone as he's getting on the board. That's the 3rd different touchdown scorer. As Warren will look to throw, now scramble a stiff arm, little throw over the head, but it falls incomplete. That is one of the most unique throwing motions you're going to see as Jack Warren tried to find his man across the end zone. It looked like a throw-in out of a soccer game. And someone tell Warren the World Cup isn't here in the U.S. until this summer.
But a nice effort there, stiff arming with his throwing arm, and then, as you said, going to the soccer formation with the throw-in, trying to get it to his receiver. But a lot of style points, but very little execution.
Well, we got a break in the action. I want to remind you about Tier 1 Meat Co. At Tier 1 Meat Co., we take pride in delivering locally sourced premium beef and pork, the kind of meat that honors the land, respects the craft, and fuels families with real flavor. From custom processing to mission-ready catering, we bring the firepower to elevate every meal and every moment. Founded by veterans, every cut is elite and every customer is family. Step into Tier 1 at 128 West Catherine Street in Flora, or visit us online at tier1meatco.com. It's been all onside kicks from this North Montgomery special teams group. Well, we get another here. You'd have to imagine Hot Dogs trying to stay ready for this one, and it is booted much further down the field this time around as Barkley's got a chance at a return as he breaks it out to the right, sheds a tackler, and has some room to work with up the sideline, cutting back to the middle of the field, finally brought down right around the 50-yard line. Once again, some very friendly field position for the Hot Dogs as Darren Barkley shook a couple of tacklers and found some room to work with.
But this is him picking up what he did last week. Some nice returns in the special teams facet of the game. Another one there. Maybe that will get some life into the offense for his guys on this side of the ball. Just a nice job. The senior, a utility player, got the lone interception for his team last week as well. So just doing a nice job in his senior campaign, being a bright spot despite being winless as a team.
So off the fantastic kickoff return up to the 49-yard line. We'll see if the Hot Dogs can take advantage. Shotgun formation again for Dooley. Snap a little bit high, but he handled it well. Nice completion right up to the first down marker on the catch and run for Hayden Shipley.
Just doing a nice job, just playing pitch and catch when you just get it out to your receiver and the ball is delivered on time and gives an opportunity for your receiver to turn and get up the field. A welcome sight for all Hot Dog fans.
1st and 10 now, just inside the 40-yard line after the reception from Shipley there. And so you've seen Dooley go out of the shotgun a little bit more frequently tonight, breaking some of the tendencies that the Hot Dogs have had for most of the season. A lot of stuff under center. You got guys in motion, a lot of different guys who could get carries, but Dooley's going to look to pass again, and it is in and out of the hands of Jaden Davis. He had his man open, Davis may want that one back. Could have picked up another first down had he been able to hang on to it.
But when you sit down and you talk with Coach Justin Kinsey, he believes in the type of spread offense that Kiefer Dooley can be a part of, especially at the quarterback position. The only problem is the type of offense that Coach Kinsey has brought into this has been wishbone, triple option type, and that's not exactly playing into the hands of Dooley. So then you see a bit of an adjustment, being down as many scores as they are, putting the ball in his quarterback's hands and living with whatever happens.
As a pass that time floated out to Barkley on the right side of the field that just sailed over his head and fell incomplete. So 3rd and 10, but Jared, I mean, we've seen them pick up. This is one thing. You talked about kind of the running style offense that they have. There's nothing wrong with that style of offense. Until you get into 3rd and long situations. So we've seen them go through the air already on this drive, pick up a first down in one play. They're going to need to try and pick up 10 yards here. We'll see what they do as Dooley, for the first time this drive, goes under center. Fakes the handoff. Looked like he was going to break toward the near side. Offsides, though, on the Chargers. Is what that flag was that stopped the play.
But honestly, when you get down as many scores as Frankfurt is down right now, but you continue to run the ball, that's a jarring act and almost an insult to those watching, that you don't have enough faith in what you have offensively to push the ball down the field via passing the ball and go score points. So don't insult the crowd, but actually play to win the game. And I think that's what we're seeing from Coach Kinsey, putting the ball into Kiefer Dooley's hands, still going to the triple option structure at times, but they're going to have to push the ball down the field quick and in a hurry.
It's Vega trying to carry a whole mess of tacklers with him. Gets very close to that first down marker. Not quite enough. I mean, that's maybe half a yard coming up here. And, I mean, it's 4-down territory, you'd imagine. It's not a team that kicks field goals. I don't know if the tush push is in the arsenal of this offense for the Hot Dogs, but you got to think it's going to be something up the middle. Nice, easy run play here.
It's synonymous with the tush push, just because by the time the offensive line gets their feet in that neutral zone on the other side of the line of scrimmage, that's enough for the fullback dive in this triple option offense. But instead, go for the hard count, something we saw in the first quarter, and they get the North Montgomery bunch to jump and pick up the easy first down.
A good job by Dooley, faking out the entire interior of that defensive line for the Chargers, and picking up the first down. So back under center goes Dooley, and he'll keep it, try to break it out to the right, and falls forward for a couple.
Don't know if everyone saw Darren Barkley looking to his sideline with hands in the air, wondering why Dooley didn't pitch it to him. Had a lot of space to make North Montgomery pay. He's already done that on the sideline as a special teams ace. Thought he could have gotten another one there and scored a touchdown for his bunch.
Lozano runs to the sideline to catch a breather. That puts Vega back in the game at tailback. Under 7 minutes left to play here in this second quarter. Dooley goes under center. We've seen a lot of shotgun, now several consecutive plays here under center. Barkley this time gets a pitch as he breaks it out to the right across the first down marker, trying to stay in bounds, and is eventually shoved out at the tail end of the play by Caden Coey. Another first down on this drive for the Hot Dogs, as they are smelling potentially that 4th touchdown of the season.
The game within the game, Coach Kinsey seeing that Darren Barkley felt like he could get to the perimeter, and what does he do? The very next play gets him a jet sweep, or I should say a toss sweep out to the edge, and Barkley doing a nice job picking up the first down.
Under center this time again, it's Dooley. And off to Vega. Puts the pad level down, met by 3 tacklers, and is stopped after a gain of a few. Getting closer to that goal line now. Hot Dogs would love to come away with some points here about midway through the second quarter.
This was the area of the field just a week ago, right after the Josh Taylor 68-yard rumble through the pass game, when they got down to underneath the 10-yard line and actually gave the ball to Danny Jaycox, who got the 8-yard touchdown score. So a comfortable area of the field for Frankfurt if they just go back to a week ago and what they did against North Putnam.
It's another handoff. Actually, it's kept by the quarterback this time. And a few more yards picked up, getting there just a little bit at a time, but it is third down, where the Hot Dogs have yet to convert on third down tonight. As you see, Dooley fake the handoff there to Barkley and pick up some extra yards.
Dooley just has to take the blinders off. He had Darren Barkley into the flat once again on the triple option, just has to pitch it to him via a backwards toss. And Barkley felt like he had the defense outflanked once again, so another miss by this Frankfort offense.
As the pitch this time goes to Davis, and it goes absolutely nowhere but backwards. 4th and long coming up for the Hot Dogs now. Going to be 9 yards to pick up that first down. You got to get it just inside the 2-yard line if they want a fresh set of downs or into the goal line. If they can't do either one of those things, it's going to be a turnover on downs. And a tough break for the Hot Dogs, who have put together their best drive of the night by far so far. It started with Dooley in the shotgun, but for several plays now he's been under center. Man goes in motion right before the snap. Dooley pitches it out to Barkley, this right edge. He had room earlier on this drive, just shy of the first down marker. Did he get enough? If not, it's a stop for the Chargers, and what a defensive stand for the visitors. Backs against the wall. We're able to force a negative play and then stop Barkley right at the sticks.
Third time's a charm. Dooley actually gets it to Barkley on this one, and it looked like Barkley was going to get enough maneuvering his way through the Chargers defense, but just came up a yard short.
That is a tough break, but if you want to look for a positive spin, Jared, that's a very good drive that the Hot Dogs just put together. I know you don't get points to show for it, but this is an offense that has seen its fair share of growing pains, as it looks like we're going to get a break in the action, and we will send it to a break as well. Chargers ball when we come back to the ISC Sports Network.
The Willow Creek Barn has been voted the best of weddings on the Knot for 4 years running. The Willow Creek Barn has earned its reputation for a reason. With breathtaking grounds, a stunning barn, and a staff that goes above and beyond, making sure that every detail is perfect, your wedding day will be seamless, joyful, and unforgettable. From the first look to the last dance, your happily ever after starts here. To book your dream wedding, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com.
It was the Frankfort Hot Dogs who called the timeout, which is why we went to break there. I'm Harrison Silcox. We've got Jared Thomas up in the press box with me tonight, as the Chargers, off their defense, coming up with a massive stand on a 4th down. We're able to force a turnover on downs. Now they get the football. The only problem, Jared, their quarterback's probably going to have his feet in the end zone when he takes the snap here, because he hasn't gone under center once all night. And from where Jack Warren is standing right now, it looks like that's going to be exactly the case. And you wonder if the Hot Dogs are going to try and bring some pressure against an offensive line that's done a really good job tonight so far for the Chargers. Glasson, the running back. Some early movement there from the Hot Dogs. The snap didn't get off, though, so no flag. 10 seconds on the play clock. Blitz coming. Right up the gut. Glasson brought down for the safety. And the Hot Dogs were thinking they were going to get a touchdown just a few minutes ago. They came up short, but you got to credit the mentality of this team and the pursuit of the football. Straight up through that line of scrimmage they go and force the safety.
Naaman Martinez does a nice job just shooting the gap, which is that margin for error on the offensive side of the ball when you're backed up into your own territory. The more you go lateral, the more chance you give the defense to shoot the gap and make a catastrophic play in their favor. That's exactly what they did. Martinez doing an outstanding job getting the safety for the first points of the game.
If you had a safety tonight for the Hot Dogs on your bingo card, congratulations and all the credit in the world, as you mentioned, Jared, to Martinez coming up with that play. Glasson has had a fantastic game outside of a fumble, and then now a safety, as the Chargers just thought they'd be able to give it to their junior running back, who's been great all night long. He's been great for most of this season, but the blitz got home from the Hot Dogs.
And truthfully, that's not on the shoulders of anyone else besides the coaching staff in that part of the field. Don't even give life of an opportunity to Frankfort in that position. Get downhill as quickly as possible just so you can get out of the shadow of your own end zone. They did not, and Frankfort took advantage.
And so now they kick off. Coming from the Chargers, two of the Hot Dogs. This is Clayton Brown to boot one downfield. Barkley's going to go chase it all the way back at his own 22. Pick it up. He's got absolutely no blockers and will be brought down for very little gain by Hunter Powell. So a lot of field the Hot Dogs have to work with on this drive, but a chance to build on some momentum after a massive play from their defense to force a safety.
And if we go back to that last drive offensively, it was Kiefer Dooley in the shotgun, getting the ball to the perimeter, being a standard spread offense type of quarterback, a change up to what everyone is used to seeing from this Frankfort offense. I'm interested to see if they go back to it.
We will see. They picked up a first down right out of the gates with the throw from Dooley. Then he was off target on a few more passes and started to go under center, converted on a fourth down to keep the drive alive. This team still has yet to convert on a third down, but Jared, as you talked about, we're seeing Dooley out of the shotgun formation as he surveys downfield with some time to throw as well, but just over the head of Allen. It was blanketed in coverage there as well. It was Caden Coey in coverage. Allen, the intended target, incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Eli Peebles doing a nice job being the back line of defense for the Chargers, just going up and playing the football, not even giving the officials an opportunity to think about calling a penalty for pass interference down the field.
That's a good coverage there as the pass sailed just a little bit from Dooley. He's gone over the head of a couple of his players a handful of times tonight. That time it was Allen. Shotgun formation once again for Dooley with Barkley in motion to the far side of the field. Dooley pump fakes in his direction. Now sticks it out to the far side of the field. I think Allen assumed he'd be blocking at that point as he had his hands on his defender as the ball just landed at his ankles. And that's another incompletion there for Dooley. 3rd and quite a ways to go to pick up the first down.
It almost looked like Quincy Allen was going to block for what would have been a bubble behind the line of scrimmage, but Dooley elected to get him the ball on the perimeter. As you see, the defensive secondary breaking on the football as Allen was going to be a lead blocker.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to get the ball to Barkley, but the Chargers just really shut down any passing lane that would have potentially been there. So I don't know if that was some improv on display there from Dooley as he's out of the shotgun once more. Blitz comes as the pass gets out to Barkley. It's caught this time. He's immediately met with the football and goes down for very little gain on the play. Lincoln Heide, one of the players, getting up after making a play there. The middle linebacker and the stop.
Eli Peebles doing a nice job on that drive. That was his defensive drive. Contested pass deflection down the field with one to credit his name, and then flying up as a corner and making the tackle, forcing the punt from Frankfort.
So Light back out to punt. A couple times, though, you mentioned Peebles, and he really was all over the place. It's just good ball hawking ability, I think, is where you'd put it. You just find the ball and you pursuit for it. It doesn't necessarily result in a fumble recovery, which is normally when you hear that kind of term, I feel like. But a good job from Peebles there. As you mentioned, Jared, I think that's a great point. He was in on every single one of those plays to help force that 3 and outs. And then a bad punt from Light. So some more friendly field position coming up for the Chargers. 1st and 10 in hot dog territory inside the 35-yard line.
But more importantly for the men in blue, that's now 0 for 2 with any chance to get points after turnovers. The first fumble they forced in the first quarter, didn't get any points to follow that drive. Then they forced the safety, created points on their own defensively, but still a turnover in the book and did nothing offensively. So thus far in that department, when they create a game-changing play, nothing to show for it on offense.
So 1st and 10, Chargers have plenty to show for on offense today. 30 points on the board. And Warren downfield, just not within reach of Glasson as they're trying to get the running back involved even more in this one, as if they haven't already done it enough. With that one falling incomplete, that stops the clock. 2nd and 10.
To start this game, going to Dakota Glasson, whether on the ground or in the air, is not a bad option if you are Jack Warren, second leading receiver with 23 catches, just north of 240 receiving yards, and a touchdown to his name as a receiver. didn't get a chance to get his head around in front of the safety before Jack Warren let that one go, so those two not able to connect down the field.
Jack Warren faked the pitch of the option and is met in the backfield. He'll lose about a yard on that play. Like one of the players getting up after making that tackle there. That was Danny Jaycox as you get another look at the stop for the Hot Dogs.
That was Jaycox, and that was Naaman Martinez, who got the safety tackle for loss, getting the sole point of the game for Frankfort thus far. So he's doing a nice job, along with Jaycox, living in the backfield for this defensive front.
3rd and 11 now. Can quarterback Jack Warren get his offense out of this hole? I believe first 3rd down of the night the Chargers are seeing. It's just going to be a screen pass to Glass, and he's got blockers upfield. Gets the first down. Plenty of room to work with as well as he walks into the end zone. Glasson with his 3rd touchdown of the night. That time it's a receiving touchdown. I go with 2 rushing touchdowns and call it a hat trick in the first half for the junior.
What an outstanding play call there by the charging Chargers. Just a middle screen. Get the ball into your playmakers' hands. Allow everyone to converge in the secondary to be lead blockers. And it helps when you have the advantage of 6 blockers to 1 defender. Usually the upper hand goes to the one with more blocking in front of him. And the charging Chargers go for another touchdown.
I feel like that play is so tricky for a defensive line because you got all the offensive linemen, they move out to go where they need to block when the running back gets the ball. And when you're on that D-line, you're in pursuit of that quarterback every time, and you're like, hey, I got a shot here.
That's exactly
and
right.
He floats it over your head, and next thing you know, it's plenty of green grass for the running back.
And those plays take timing. It takes chemistry. It takes repetitions, and it seems like something that the charging Chargers have worked on, and it showed the effectiveness there with the touchdown from Glasson and the 2-point conversion.
Yep. Just more perfect execution from the Chargers. We saw earlier on the drive, Jack Warren tried to fake a pitch, take it himself. Hot Dogs were all over it, forced a loss of a yard on that play. That time gives it to his running back, who then gets the job done. 38-2. North Montgomery up big time here late in the first half. Broadcast tonight brought to you by FiberHawk. Now available FiberHawk Fiber Internet. Super fast speeds. No more buffering. Perfect for all sizes of business. FiberHawk offers every speed to meet your internet needs. For more on offerings and availability, go to fiberhawk.com or call 765-922-HAWK. Fast, affordable. FiberHawk. And also Wampler's Disposal Service and Recycling. Wampler's is a place where recycling always makes sense. Please call Wampler's at 659-3721 for all your trash, recycling, and scrap needs. Wampler's Disposal Service and Recycling, family-owned since 1948. Getting close to the halftime break here, Jared, and it's been a pretty impressive showing from the Chargers, looking for their first win on the season tonight. And if they keep this up, they'll get there no problem.
I talked about it at the start of the broadcast. 70 points scored for this offense of North Montgomery the last 2 weeks, and they really got that thing rolling against Western Boone just a few weeks ago. Only scored 14, but you saw some of the DNA and what they could do on the ground start to rear its head in that game against the Stars, and they've just kept at it ever since, and it's paying off some huge dividends here tonight against Frankfort.
That ball goes out of bounds, though, so we've seen multiple onside kicks, seen one for the Hot Dogs, multiple for the Chargers. We've seen good kick returns from both teams, and now a kick that goes out of play, so the Hot Dogs will get some good field position, as it's just been a kaleidoscope of special teams. Trailing by 36, what's the mindset here for the Hot Dogs as they trot back out on offense? Just a couple of minutes to work with here in the first half.
I actually want to go back to the kick that goes out of bounds. Sometimes we put blame onto the kicker or to the coaches kicking it out of bounds, but when you understand what Darren Barkley did on the last kick return, don't even give the ball or put the ball in his hands, kick it out of bounds, play the field position game, because no matter where Frankfort has started, they have not had a lot of success on offense. So a credit to Coach Thompson putting this one into the hands and the lap of his defense and say, go get another stop.
Shotgun formation for Dooley. Finds Allen, but in and out of his hands. Pass is just a little bit behind him, but he did get the gloves on it. Might have had some room to work with after the catch as well. Instead of picking up the first down, it is 2nd and 10 as the Hot Dogs are still trying to find some life out of this passing game. There are players who are open downfield, Jared.
But that's the accuracy that I was talking about with Kiefer Dooley. I heard on the PA just as I was walking in, headed to Anderson University, I would imagine, as a quarterback. But that's just about making your layups. When the receiver is open, put the ball in a place that he can catch it, not just to be a playmaker, but to complete the pass. And he's just not done that consistently at all this entire season, especially here tonight.
Another incompletion there as you try to find Darren Barkley. Barkley asking for a flag at the tail end of the play, is not going to get it. Eli Peebles and covers there as you get a good look at the player that Jared's been very complimentary of in the last couple of drives. Peebles, a junior, 6 foot, 155 pounds, got 20 tackles on the year coming into this game.
They're going to get Gage Taylor, senior defensive lineman and offensive lineman, 6'4", 250 pounds. Anytime you hit the quarterback late, especially Kiefer Dooley, only 6'1", 185 pounds, that's going to look a lot more violent to the officials every single time. But I understand where Gage Taylor stands, because a couple of possessions ago he felt like he got teed off on from his own teammate and thought it was actually the Frankfurt offensive line. So a bit of level of frustration for Gage Taylor, but as they took him out, just encouraging him to keep his head as they're fully in control of this one.
Yeah, so that flag, good eye on that, the deep ball, but on the tail end of the play, it was Dooley taking a shot at the end of it as he's trying to avoid a couple of tacklers, puts his head down right near the line of scrimmage, might wind up being a loss of 1, as that's a running play for the quarterback that the Chargers were all over as Dooley tried to break it to the outside.
Well, that's just an outstanding job by 66 Braylon Denham. As you can see, presents himself in one gap, then plays fiddle with the blocker and goes to the other gap, not really providing a path for Dooley to take advantage of, giving himself enough time for the rest of his Charger teammates to rally to the football.
Braylon Denham, one of those two defensive ends on this front four for North Montgomery, who has been in good command of the line of scrimmage. Second and long, coming up, Dooley, shotgun formation once more. Vega to his left. 4 wide receivers out on the play as Dooley has this one tipped and then hits the turf. I believe getting a hand on that was Hunter Powell, as the amount of time to throw for Dooley is shrinking each play here as he heads back to the sideline to get a play call.
That defensive front that you just mentioned on the previous play really starting to increase and permeate their control of this game. Something to be said when your defensive line and your front 4 and your front 7 can really take control of the game and really eliminate any chance of the offense to be explosive. And that's what we're seeing with the inability to be successful offensively for Frankfurt.
88 seconds left to play here in the first half. This pass just goes out to Barkley in the catch and run. And he picks up just a little bit, gets back in front of the sticks. 4th down coming up, though. And it's going to be about 6 yards to get the first. And you'd imagine the Hot Dogs may want to go for it here. They got the ball in Charge territory. It looks like they're doing just that. Dooley gets the play call and jogs back out to the huddle. Let the rest of the boys in there know what the play is. 20 seconds left to get the snap off. You got 55 left in this half. Trailing by 36 are the Hot Dogs. They've gotten in the red zone once tonight. Came up short, but it was a very positive drive. High snap for Dooley. Pressure comes from the far side. He takes a shot. Hunter Powell came in to lay the hit on Dooley. He is shaken up, but that front 4 for the Chargers really came alive on that drive as Dooley slow to get up here as he took a big, clean hit.
It's odd to see protection go in one direction and also the running back go in the same direction. Just no real protection to the blind side where Kiefer Dooley was not looking. And that was all the angle that Hunter Powell needed to lay a booming hit on Kiefer Dooley, who was already hobbled coming into tonight's contest, and I'm sure that lick didn't help either.
Now Powell still looking for his first sack on the season. Nearly had it there. But that is one of those plays that a quarterback will not forget the next time he drops back to pass. That's what you're trying to do when you're playing defense and you got a team trying to air it out, get pressure on the quarterback. And if you're not getting the sacks, at least get in his face, make him feel uncomfortable back there. And turnover on downs, Warren back to throw, scrambles out of the pocket. Nice throw on the run, on target. First down picked up as well. So still time to work with here, 31 seconds on the clock. with Lucky Young on the catch and run. So a fresh set of downs, and working their way through hot dog territory are the Chargers. They've got some time to maybe get one more touchdown before halftime, and they'll be receiving the ball as well out of the locker room. And a timeout, I believe, is what's just been signaled from the officiating crew. And it was called by the Chargers. So, Jared, we've seen the Chargers time and time again go to their running back class, and obviously we just saw the arm talent of Warren on display there, throwing the run, finding his man downfield. Clearly, plenty of weapons on this offense with 22 seconds left to play here now in this first half to get it toward the end zone. So you got a headset up here, doing color commentary, but if you got a coach's headset on there down on the sideline, you're calling a play here, who are you looking to go to, and how are you going to try to get the football to them given the situation?
Well, at 22 seconds left to go, you have plenty of time when you're at the 39-yard line approaching the goal line to go score. You have a quarterback that at the start of the season had 2 games passing for over 100 yards, and that was against Twin Lakes and Cascade. So a willing passer, even got over 200 a couple of times this season. So you have receivers that you can get it to, as we've already seen Lucky Young get into the action. Clayton Brown got some plays down the field. You really have 3 plays generously with these last 22 seconds. So put it in the ball of your playmaker and Jack Warren and see if he can take advantage of some deep balls down the field.
Warren will try to do that out of the shotgun, and he will drop back to pass. He will look downfield. Deep ball, and it is incomplete. Allen had his mitts on it, thought he was going to come away with an interception. Clayton Brown was streaking downfield. The football was never going to quite get to him. And I think we might have had a flag thrown on the play as well. It's on official back near the backfield. Pick it up and put it in his pocket. So maybe it's going to wind up being no call. Clock is stopped at 14.9 after the incompletion. Still a chance to take a shot here, 2nd and 10. The goal is the end zone for the Chargers here late in this second quarter.
Quincy Allen just in perfect position the entire time, keeping the rest of the field in front of him, was tracking the ball the entire time. I just think poor placement by Jack Warren trying to get the ball to Clayton Brown, but he gets another crack at it.
Warren look to the far sideline first, then back downfield. He goes to his sophomore wide receiver, Barkley, with a pass deflection there as Clayton Brown goes down on the incompletion. That's 2 big shots on 2 consecutive plays that have wound up as incompletions for Jack Warren, the quarterback, as the Chargers now have 8.9 seconds left to maybe get some points on, some more points on the board, I would add, late here in the first half.
Despite the score that you see that's not in the favor of Frankfort, I think the secondary doing a nice job adjusting to what they didn't do well in that first quarter was allow this receiving core to get behind them. And in back-to-back plays, Quincy Allen, the team leader in pass deflections, and the lone interception getter for Frankfort in Darren Barkley, doing a nice job going up and playing the football, keeping everything in front of them, giving their team a chance to go into halftime the same way they saw it when they trotted on the field for defense this last part of the second quarter.
I think this defense, you mentioned it, Jared, you can look at the scoreboard and you could think one thing, but when you watch the game, what this defense for Frankfort's been able to do in a couple of possessions, they've got a safety tonight. Their secondary has been tested in the last handful of plays. They've stood tall to the task as well, so really got to give this defense credit, especially the back end recently, and you'd have to imagine that's some good, momentum that the coaches can try and build off of going in the locker room at halftime. Hey, here are some of the positives that we've had in that first half, especially late in the second quarter, and now we'll see if the Chargers try to take another shot at the end zone here. It is 3rd down. They've had tunnel vision toward the goal line this entire drive, and we'll see if that continues as Jack Warren back out of the shotgun. His running back Glasson is with him. We're in similar field position on their last touchdown, Jared, where they threw a screen to Glasson and he took it to the house. They try to do some of that here. It's a little pitch that goes out to Brown as he runs it to the other side of the field. His quarterback's going to try to throw a block. We've got a flag that comes in late in the play with 0.9 seconds left. So not quite the explosive trickery that the Chargers were hoping for on a regular drive without the clock being an issue. That's a good little pickup there, but this one might be coming back a little bit.
It's going to be on Lucky Young. Got too much jersey of Quincy Allen on the reverse that was coming back to the wide side of the field. A heads-up play and play call by North Montgomery. break down the tendencies that you've shown the last couple of plays, pushing the ball down the field, force the defense to come up and respect the run. Just didn't get everything in tune with one another.
And the clock will wind out after that as well. So the first half ends with a holding that goes against the Chargers as the clock ticks down to 0. I think the Chargers were hoping to maybe get another play out of there. You still see the offense out on the field, as you've also got Josh Thompson out having a conversation with the official. Hot Dogs, they've walked off the field. They're ready to talk things over at halftime. You got the band working their way out of the field. I'm going to hold on commercial break just to make sure that there's not supposed to be another play going on here, as you've got 4 officials now huddled up with Thompson on the far side. Justin Kinsey still hanging out on the field just to make sure that he knows what's going on.
What's unclear for Josh Thompson is if the play ended with the ball going out of bounds and there's still being time on the clock,
yeah,
there wouldn't be a 10-second runoff despite the penalty. Now, if that penalty took place in the field of play, there would be a 10-second runoff, but that does not apply on this one just because the ball went out of bounds, the clock stopped, and they called holding. So a mix-up there, as you saw, North Montgomery staying on the field waiting for an explanation.
And the explanation from the officials is halftime. So we will head into the halftime break. Hot Dogs trailing 38-2 with 2 quarters in the books. Halftime show coming up next.
At Wampler's Disposal and Recycling, we take pride in offering waste management for commercial and residential clients. As an industry leader, Wampler's Disposal and Recycling brings the most professional and responsive collection service in the business. Since 1948, our family-owned and operated company has provided excellent service at competitive rates. We offer container rentals as well. Our longevity in the industry is a testament to our excellent service. We serve all of Clinton, Tippecanoe, Boone, Howard, and Carroll counties. For all your waste removal needs, call Wampler Services Incorporated today. You can reach us at 765-659-3721. Visit us online at wamplerservicesinc.com.
Welcome to Trinity Hope Center. Here we are actively engaged in our recovery community with a multitude of activities including peer recovery coaching, a full computer lab, grief groups, relapse prevention, pre- and postnatal support group, educational workshops for family members with addicted loved ones, expungent workshops, parent cafes, Saturday pro-social activities, recovery walk club, book club, and even video game nights. For more information, give us a call at 765-250-1845.
The Willow Creek Barn has been voted the best of weddings on the knot for 4 years running. The Willow Creek Barn has earned its reputation for a reason. With breathtaking grounds, a stunning barn, and a staff that goes above and beyond, making sure that every detail is perfect, your wedding day will be seamless, joyful, and unforgettable. From the first look to the last dance, your happily ever after starts here. To book your dream wedding, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com.
A good look at the Frankfort Marching Band, and that's as clear of a signal as you can possibly have to let you know that it is halftime here. And at the break, it is Frankfort trailing 38-2 against the North Montgomery Chargers. And another Monon Conference game. Both teams 0-7 on the year coming into this one, so one of them's going to walk away with their first win on the season. I'm Harrison Silcox, Jared Thomas up here with me. Great view out of the press box here at Frankfort High School. Jared, as we look back at the first half, let's start with Frankfort. You know, you can focus on some of the negatives, but I think it's more important, I guess, to point out the positives. I think this team did a lot of really good things in that first half. Starting with the first play, they forced a fumble on the first offensive snap of the game for North Montgomery.
After what they did last week, scoring 12 points in that first half and then getting blanketed with no points in the second half, I thought they came out inspired with a lot of energy, some jumping around pregame as they won the coin toss and deferred, but it quickly was zapped once they created the turnover and then didn't score any points after that. And then it was just a frenzy from North Montgomery, and they haven't looked back since. So that's just what you have with a team like Frankfort that's gotten a first-year head coach that's come from the state of Michigan down to the state of Indiana, somewhere that he's had success before at Mishawaka Marion, and something that he even said it's going to be a process. So when you don't bring your best ball on offense, defense, and special teams on the same night, you see some of these woes that they've had, specifically here in this first half.
And I also want to point out a few more of the other positives. Defense forced a safety and then also did a good job keeping the Chargers out of the end zone. Their secondary was tested big time late in that first half. But you start talking about North Montgomery, they've done a whole lot of things well. Up front, the big men on the offensive line have done a good job creating all sorts of holes for this running game.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job with the run game. It's been Jack Warren, it's been Dakota Glasson, but it's really been the explosive plays in the pass game that have really been the feature part of this offensive performance for North Montgomery. I really believe a win has been brewing for this Charging Chargers bunch going back the last couple of weeks in their contest against Crawfordsville and Greencastle. Didn't get the win, but last week 48-42 against Crawfordsville, putting up that many points and you come up short. There's something that you're doing well, and I think that's continued to be the case this week in what they've done in this first half.
Yeah, Jack Warren, the quarterback, we highlighted him in the pregame. I think he's been absolutely fantastic tonight. 44% completion rate coming into this one. He's been great as a runner, great as a passer. Statistically, some of the passing stuff doesn't pop out like crazy when you look at it, but I thought he's thrown the ball well tonight. Obviously, that last drive, they were just taking shots at the end zone. But for the most part, I feel like Warren's been on target, which I think he's probably pleased with, where his legs have done most of, for lack of a better way to put it, no pun intended, but his legs have done most of the leg work the last couple of weeks for this team, but he's been able to get that right arm more involved.
Yeah, and I think at the end of that half, you talk about situational football. That was a situation that I'm sure Coach Thompson wanted to see his bunch go and execute in. The other team in the Frankfort Hot Dogs know that you're going to air it out. You're trying to go score points. You have just under 30 seconds once they got on the plus side of the 50 to go score some points, and actually started on the 39-yard line. So that drive started in advantageous field position from the very beginning. So when the other team knows that you are going to air it out, can you still execute? And they had a chance there at the end, but a funky way to finish the first half with what looked like to be another play offensively for them. Officials saw it differently, but once again, you're up 38-2. You can live with those type of learning lessons that they had trying to air it out to go get more points, but they have plenty of second half to do a lot of the same.
Those are our thoughts on the first half. That's Jared Thomas. Once again, I'm Harrison Silcox. Thoughts on the first half. That segment presented by the Willow Creek Barn, where nature's beauty meets rustic elegance. We've got first half highlights on the way after this.
The Willow Creek Barn has been voted the best of weddings on the knot for 4 years running. The Willow Creek Barn has earned its reputation for a reason. With breathtaking grounds, a stunning barn, and a staff that goes above and beyond, making sure that every detail is perfect, your wedding day will be seamless, joyful, and unforgettable. From the first look to the last dance, your happily ever after starts here. To book your dream wedding, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com.
I brought you a present. A book.
Follow the adventures of the Ardente Dental team as they fight cavities, gum disease, and create beautiful, healthy smiles.
Inconceivable. Hello, my name is Dr. Snyder. You cause cavities. Prepare to die. Inconceivable. To make your smile look straight and fine, our braces per month are just $1.99. Inconceivable.
You keep using that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Have fun at Ardente Dental.
Welcome to Trinity Hope Center. Here we are actively engaged in our recovery community with a multitude of activities including peer recovery coaching, a full computer lab, grief groups, relapse prevention, pre- and postnatal support group, educational workshops for family members with addicted loved ones, expungent workshops, parent cafes, Saturday pro-social activities, recovery walk club, book club, and even video game nights. For more information, give us a call at 765-250-1845.
In this town, game day starts long before kickoff. It's the work behind the scenes that makes champions. At Tier 1 Meat Company, we prep with the same focus, discipline, and pride as the hometown heroes we feed. From our block to your block, fuel every victory. Tier 1 Meat Company. Mission, feed the fans. Standard, champion quality. Scan the QR code for a game day upgrade.
Let's take a look at some first half highlights here, presented by Mulberry Telecommunications, the best gig in town. Number 4, you're going to see plenty of him in this package. Dakota Glasson's been fantastic as he's gotten plenty of touches with the football. That was a little pitch to the outside as the Chargers were knocking on their first score of the game. And that one was actually called back for a hold as you saw Glasson get into the end zone. Here's a deep ball from the quarterback, Warren. Going downfield, that was the first passing touchdown of the night. Lucky Young coming in with the catch. And Warren on the 2-point conversion just after that. Quarterback's been very active, running in, throwing the football. This is a really good look at Darren Barkley. He's been all over the field defensively and offensively in that first half. And sophomore wide receiver Clayton Brown got a deep shot early in the first quarter. This is him in a little jet sweep across the field as the sophomores continue to put up work and leading this team in receiving. A nice throw under pressure from Warren, finding his running back again. Glasson hard to bring down as always, but mentioned Barkley all over the field in that first half. That was him coming away with the tackle. And then Warren on the quarterback keeper up the middle. All sorts of carries for the quarterback Warren and running back Glasson. This was on a 2-point conversion attempt. They faked the handoff inside, found a big man across the goal line. Here's Barkley once more, running into a whole mess of tacklers. As the Chargers defensively have not given up a lot on the wrong side of their own line of scrimmage. That's a really good punt return from Cohey that we saw in the first half. A nearly score. There was a holding, though, that would take this one back just a little bit, as he was a tough kid to bring down.
Just a total team effort by North Montgomery, showing all of the litany of weapons that they have. Colin Zachary, Lucky Young, Eli Peebles stood out defensively in the secondary. All of the protagonists that they have in the backfield with Jack Warren and Dakota Glasson. Just everyone contributing, the offensive line blocking, just a complete team effort, which is what you always are looking for if you're a head coach. Can you put together 4 quarters of whatever your standard is of football? And so far, I would say outside of one play, North Montgomery has done exactly that. Now the task is going to be, can they continue a lot of the same in this second half?
And so you're just looking at, that's a whole mess of Glasson touches. I'm surprised his uniform's as clean as it is at the white jersey with how many touches he's got. This is Barkley in a big special teams play. Kick return, the football found its way to him. One of the few normal kick returns we had on the night. I think the Chargers had just as many onside kick attempts as they did actual kicking attempts. This is Barkley finding some more space. All-purpose yards, Barkley has been all over the place for the Hot Dogs tonight. As Dooley on the pitch out wide to Barkley once again. This is the closest Frankfort got to scoring a touchdown in the first half. And then this is the safety. It was a turnover on downs that was forced by the Chargers. A handoff to Glasson, brought down behind the line of scrimmage and in his own end zone. The biggest bright spot, I thought, of the first half from Frankfort was forcing that safety, Jared.
Just doing an outstanding job. That was Naaman Martinez getting in the backfield, taking advantage of the offensive line and the play callers sleeping, backed up on the -1, gets in for the safety, tackle for loss, and the only points of the game for Frankfort.
This is Dooley, who was brought down earlier. Now Warren escaping out of the pocket. I believe this was his last completion of the first half, as he found Lucky Young out in space after scrambling out of the pocket. So that tells just some of the story of how we've gotten to 38-2 on the scoreboard here at the halftime break. Jack Warren's been active throwing the football. Dakota Glasson all over the field. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown as well. Lucky Young also with a receiving touchdown. Tyler Thompson getting his first touchdown on the season as well. We'll see what the Chargers offense has in store for the rest of this one in just a few minutes once halftime ends. But before we actually get to play in the third quarter, Jared and myself will talk through what we might see adjustment-wise from either one of these teams. How are the Chargers going to hang on to that 36-point lead on the scoreboard, and what can the Hot Dogs do to maybe get that offense going a little bit more? Saw some positive signs there late in that first half. Can they build on that momentum? We'll talk about that and more coming up after this on the ISC Sports Network.
Frankfort Eagles 976 has bingo every Wednesday night. Early birds beginning at 6 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 7 p.m. Packets are $25 and includes every game you need to play. They also have Saturday Bingo the first Saturday of every month, with early birds starting at 4 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 5 p.m. Big game payouts each game with 3 to 4 chances to win different jackpot games each day. Great for individuals or groups because everyone enjoys winning lots of money. You must be 18 years or older to play.
At Day and Ginda Funeral Home, we embrace change while staying true to timeless values. Our commitment to putting families first remains steadfast. With up-to-date practices and unwavering compassion, we offer the highest quality of service for your loved ones. Trust to serve your family with a classic commitment in modern times. Day and Ginda Funeral Home, putting family first.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Frankfort marching band there, still doing a fantastic job as a halftime entertainment, as they have done all season. Last home game on the year for the Hot Dogs. So senior night as well. So senior members of the band being honored just as well as the football players were before this one. So we've got about 5 minutes, Jared, until we get to the third quarter. Between this, Jared Thomas up here to my left. I'm Harrison Silcox. Thank you for joining us to the broadcast this evening. It's the Hot Dogs who trail 38-2. We'll start with them as we get into our adjustments for the second half here, presented by JXN Stump Solutions, rooted in service, driven to remove. Let's start with the Hot Dogs on defense. We'll get to their offense in just a second. Saw some positive things with defense. They had a forced fumble, and they also had that safety. And then the stop on the Chargers drive at the end of the first half, which we've talked about. But what are some things that you think, I guess some of those positive things, how can Frankfort build off that into some more progress here in the second half?
I think they've done a nice job flying around. There's some plays that they've made. The safety stands out. The defensive stand stands out at the end of that first half. But it's put quite simply, defense is judged on how often do you keep your opponent out of the end zone. They haven't done a great job in that department. So if they can put together some of the spot plays that they've had and flashes of flying around with actually generating a stop, forcing a punt, and putting together a string of stops, I think they at least give their offense a chance to get the ball back and then try and go score.
You talk about that offense and going and scoring. How do you think they go about doing that? We've seen Kiefer Dooley drop back to pass several times. There's been some good there. There's been some bad there. We've seen some passes that are off target. We've seen some passes that, when they are on target, it's fantastic. Guys catching the ball, they got space to run. You assume that the blocking's good enough. We did see him take a shot late in the first half, but you think this offense might do a little bit more through the passing game in the second half, or still try to work on that running game?
I think it comes down to what I'm about to say. 4 guys have attempted a pass this season, and that's Jackson Roby, that's Maddox Thomas, and that's Dennis Barkley, all at the quarterback position in addition to Kiefer Dooley. But Kiefer Dooley is the only one that has completed a pass this entire season, so they have to put the ball in his hands. Don't worry about completion and attempts and what that percentage looks like, but they have to spread the ball out to allow him to be a thrower to potentially try and get some explosive plays going, because if not, I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be a lot of the same results that they got in the first half, which is only 2 points, and that one coming from the defense.
Now let's pivot over to the Chargers. People say it all the time. It's cliche, whatever. It's the truth. Line of scrimmage is where you win a lot of football games. You played on the offensive line, and you're still playing on the offensive line in your days now. We've seen this offensive line do great things for the Chargers offense. We've seen the defensive line wreak havoc and not allow the running game to get going for the Hot Dogs. So for the Chargers, you think they just kind of want to build off just owning the trenches so far in this game?
That's what you do when you have a 36-point lead. It now incites the running clock as it's over 35 points of an advantage for your team. So now it's just about putting the game truly in the hands of your offensive line and say, hey, go finish this out for us. So that's staying ahead of the sticks on first and second down. If you get into third and long and it's not third and manageable, then I would imagine that's when you throw the football. But I would think that Coach Josh Thompson is going to continue to pound the rock. One, because it's been working thus far, but two, when you have such a massive lead, no need to showboat and trying to run up the score because the run game has done enough of that, and it also gives your offensive line a chance to just continue to get comfortable as you creep closer and closer to postseason play.
Now you think the Chargers might think about spreading out some of those touches that they gave Dakota Glass? We saw them all over the first half highlights. You think we might see some more guys get going in the running game?
I would imagine so. If this continues to be a trend that the lead continues to grow, I would think that more guys get opportunities to get in at quarterback and other skill positions and get their opportunity to get on TV. Obviously, with us covering the broadcast here between the Hot Dog Network and the ISC Sports Network, so that would be an outstanding opportunity for those young men to get some opportunities at the varsity level here on this Friday night.
Trying to get on tape, and what better place to do that than on Hot Dog TV. That's the Chargers you see warming up out there on the field. The Hot Dogs making their way out of the locker room now. We've got the second half of play coming up next.
We've all heard the question, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? Honestly, we're not sure either. But what we do know is that if it falls in your yard, it usually leaves behind an unsightly stump that you'll be stuck mowing around. At JXN Stump Solutions, we'll get rid of that stump for good, and here's the best part. We offer free estimates, so you'll know the cost before the work begins. We deliver quality work from a professional, locally owned company with a commitment to leaving your property cleaner, safer, and stump-free. Contact us today at 242-9523. At JXN Stump Solutions, we're rooted in service and driven to remove.
Running a small business. Your hands are full. We can help. FiberHawk partners with local companies by providing business class internet, phone, TV, and customized bundles to meet your needs. Our fiber-powered system delivers reliable speed with enhanced security. Running a business is tough. Contact FiberHawk today and let our expert team give you a hand.
Broadcast tonight brought to you by Abstract Technology Group. Doing IT differently but making it simple. Abstract Technology Group does exactly that. Whether you're located in Indianapolis, Lafayette, or all points surrounding and in between, call 765-420-TECH or visit abstracttechgroup.com, where Abstract making it simple. And then also JXN Stump Solutions. Tired of unsightly tree stumps ruining your yard? Let us take care of it. We've got the equipment and experience to get the job done right. We offer 3 tiers of service that will rejuvenate your yard, all at competitive, budget-friendly rates. Call 765-242-9523 today for a free estimate. JXN Stump Solutions, rooted in service, driven to remove. Once again, I'm Harrison Silcox. Jared Thomas in the press box with me here at Frankfort High School. And we talked about it a few minutes ago, and we are going to see a running clock here in the second half. And so we've got a couple of minutes until the opening kickoff. As a player, how do you kind of try to manage that if you're like a starter, right? So, you're thinking you're probably only going to get so many more plays, so many more drives, so many more opportunities. So with the running clock, so how do you try and handle that, just knowing like, okay, I'm probably, if I'm a starter, not going to play all the way through the end of the fourth quarter in this one. It's got to make the most of the limited reps you have left?
Absolutely. It's just about whoever gets in, whoever is called upon to get out in the field of play, the man in the arena, the men in the arena. You're expected to still execute no matter how many plays that you get. So it's an opportunity, as we've already talked about in the last action here at the halftime break. Anyone that gets an opportunity to play on Friday night has to covet it because it truly is a special opportunity to do so. But you also don't want to be that guy when the coaches turn on the tape and they watch a game that's been decided in your favor. You're the one that's not playing hard enough. You're the one that looks like you're looking forward to the bus ride home. So I think there's enough motivation in itself, just not wanting to be a sore thumb sticking out in your effort in the second half.
That's never fun when you're getting called out on tape. Got the whole team in the film room. The coach hits pause. And, hey, what's 72 doing?
Trust me, that goes on in the player's mind, even when you're Frankfort, despite how things have gone for them this season and here tonight. It's all about building the standard, and that standard being built takes some tough times. It takes some molding. It takes some serious adversity, but within that you have to have guys that go to battle every single snap. And you find a lot out about your team when you're in games like this and how they play with their backs against the wall in second halves.
I want to mention one of the touchdowns that Frankfort scored on the season. It came from a backup quarterback and Maddox Thomas, who just helped march the Hot Dogs down on the drive late in the game. And, so there's always moments to play for even when the scoreboard's not exactly in your favor. And, that was a play that I was on the broadcast for it that night. Hot Dogs were fired up after scoring a touchdown. So the competitive drive is still there for these guys despite, whatever numbers you see on the scoreboard. And you touched on it if you're with us in the pregame. Jared was talking about, he misses the high school days of playing, even though he's still playing today. Played football in college. You got plenty of reps throughout your career. But these are moments that, as a player, you love as kind of a weird little kickoff. I don't know if you consider that an onside there, but it is the Hot Dogs who will return it. But you only got so many more opportunities to play high school football, so only so many more plays out there. So even though you got that running clock, scoreboard is what it is, you still got something to play for. As the Hot Dogs, we'll see if they can get a touchdown here in this second half. Would be their fourth of the season.
A sense of pride in these respective communities when you're traveling across county lines, when you're speaking about your respective team within the community lines. It's got to be a sense of pride for everyone involved, especially for the players. You have some bragging rights as you go back home or you're in your hometown, just to be able to play on Friday nights and put on full display what you've been working so hard for, which often is closed off, and not many people travel to practices to see what it takes to get these W's in the W column. So once again, just everyone being very proud of their community, and what an opportunity you get to do that on Friday nights, which is why it's so special across all of America, playing high school football on Friday nights and being a coveted slot for sports going on all across the country.
Maddox Thomas is in the game now. I mentioned him just moments ago. We saw Kiefer Dooley take a big shot at the end of the first half. Bobbled snap here. Thomas gets a hold of the ball and just falls forward. So a few more picked up. Third down coming up. Hot Dogs have yet to convert a third down tonight. But Maddox Thomas in the game at quarterback. Dooley still on the sideline with a helmet on, as the coaches may just be trying to preserve him for what comes later this season. Crawfordsville up next for Frankfort.
It's interesting to see Maddox Thomas at the quarterback position, as that hasn't been his life before week 2 of this season. So someone that stepped in nicely, presented a complex situation and equation for opposing defenses, but so far procedurally not doing a nice job at the quarterback position.
The flag came out for the referee, signaled false start. A lot of the players, you saw Barkley go in motion out of the wide receiver position into the backfield. Then the flag came out. And just judging from the body language of Frankfort, they seemed a little confused as to why a flag came out there. But nonetheless, you had Laundrie on the field. Early movement from Frankfort in the officials' eyes. Just under 10 minutes left here in the third quarter. And it was 3rd and 4. Now 3rd and 9. With Thomas back under center. We'll see if head coach Justin Kinsey wants to have Thomas try and throw the ball, or if they go back to that heavy running game. Dooley has thrown more passes than any other quarterback on this roster as Barkley sheds a tackler, works forward, kept those legs churning, got close to the 50-yard line, needed to get to the 49 for the first. It's a manageable 4th down that the Hot Dogs are going to have coming up.
Don't see any reason why they don't go for it on this 4th and 1. That previous play, as you saw, getting the ball to Darren Barkley, who was calling for the ball a couple different times in that first half. When they finally got it to him, still almost able to get through the teeth of this North Montgomery defense and get a first down and almost a score. So he following up some of those same efforts there on that 3rd down, with the 4th down coming up.
And early movement from the inside of that defensive line for the Chargers. You had Noah Fiddler, defensive tackle, fell for that hard count. Second time tonight that's happened for the Chargers. So good job from the Hot Dogs to draw the penalty and move forward. And a fresh set of downs as well.
I loved what I heard just a couple of weeks ago getting ready for a DePaul football game. Coach Brett Dietz talked about mental gymnastics that the quarterback position takes on, but really the defensive line, when you understand your whole key and ignition to go on every play is the ball that's right there in front of you. So Fiddler not paying attention to the football just shows you that mentally, if you're not engaged, you can turn a 4th and 1 in your favor into a first down conversion for your opponent.
You say that, Jared, but I think if I was on a defensive line, I'd fall for every single hard count that a quarterback right. But that's coming from the guy who never played football and is up here just talking to you about it. As Thomas goes back under center, 2nd down, about 8 yards to work with. Barkley goes in motion pre-snap. This time the handoff goes to the running back who bodies his way forward. So Kinsey, head coach Justin Kinsey, that is, going into his depth pretty early here, I would say, in this second half, as we're starting to see some guys into the ball game who we didn't see. That was Broderick Kinsey on the carry.
The one downside that I'm assuming Coach Justin Kinsey and his group feel like they didn't take advantage of thus far in the game is the terrible run defense from North Montgomery. They've given up over 2,000 yards on the ground to their opponents in this 7-game season, with tonight being the 8th. And they gave up back-to-back 300-yard rushing games from week 2 to week 5. But if you're wondering why Frankfort hasn't been able to take advantage, because when you get down so much after a while, running the ball down as much as you were is like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
So that is Lozano as they run the ball again. And as you said, you just go with, you think about game script, and typically when you get down big in games, teams start to throw the football. Hot Dogs still working on that passing game, still a work in progress, obviously, tonight, and they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Vega is the running back in behind. Thomas back under center, where he's been ever since he's come into this game. Vega gets the carry, runs into his own offensive lineman, and then finds some space. Vega, with nobody near him, into the end zone, and scores! As the Hot Dogs have their fans on their feet with a Frankfort touchdown. Coming from Francisco Vega. He's really listed as a fullback, but the sophomore, all 200 pounds of him, just rumbling through tacklers.
Just follow the cowboy collar, actually gets knocked off by some of his own teammates, and then you see it there, just outruns the rest of this charging Chargers defense in a game. As I said, they haven't been able to take advantage of this horrible run defense from North Montgomery, but Vega took matters into his own hands and scurries to the touchdown. What feels like an opportunity to play the lottery in Vegas. Francisco doing a nice job.
So Vega gets the touchdown, his first of the season. They're going to give him the carry again here on the 2-point try, and it's not going to be successful. But on senior night, Hot Dogs fans on their feet after that play. It's one of the biggest running plays Hot Dogs have had all season. And 5:41 here left to play in the third quarter. Frankfort on the board with their first touchdown of the night. They had a safety, now 6 points to go with it. We're back after this at the ISC Sports Network.
At Laser Edge Turf and Excavation, we take pride in keeping your property looking its best and your projects moving forward. From expert commercial and residential mowing to lawn fertilization that keeps your grass healthy year-round, we've got your yard covered. Need more than lawn care? We also specialize in directional boring, trenching, and full excavation work. Whether it's maintaining your curb appeal or tackling big jobs underground, trust Laser Edge and Excavation to get the job done right. Let us tackle your next project. Give us a call at 670-2286.
Broadcast tonight brought to you by the Frankfort Eagles, Post 976, serving our community since 1905 with over 900 members locally. The Frankfort Eagles offers something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, please visit FOE.com or stop by 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. Harrison Silcox, Jared Thomas with you tonight. And the Hot Dogs getting their first touchdown on the night as well, Jared.
Despite what the record may say, despite what the box scores say, that's back-to-back weeks for touchdowns for the Hot Dogs, doing it in a plethora of ways. So all signs pointing to progress here in Frankfort, Indiana for the Frankfort High School Hot Dogs.
Progress indeed, as this team has not converted a third down yet, but I believe that was their fourth down conversion. That one resulted in a touchdown. You got to imagine they're fired up, but trying to answer right back are the Chargers on a great kick return across the 45 and nearly to the 50. And who else but Dakota Glasson, who just continues to rack up the all-purpose yards, just scoops up the football and goes.
life has been good for North Montgomery every time Dakota Glasson has gotten the football in his hands. Just an explosive play waiting to happen as they trot out on offense for the first time in this third quarter.
I am genuinely curious the material in the jersey there, because Glasson's jersey should not be as clean as it is, just given the nature of the running back position, the amount of touches he's had. They're in the white uniforms tonight, and that thing, I mean, it looks like he just pulled it out of the dryer. As in motion, a fumble here, but this one is picked up. It's not lost. Clayton Brown got back on top of it. He's trying to keep the play alive in reverse field, and then brought down for a huge loss all the way back at his own 30. So Glasson set him up in great field position on the kick return, and then really a 20-yard loss on the play.
In back-to-back plays to start each half, the ball has been on the ground for North Montgomery. Ball security probably going to be a point of emphasis as they go into the latter part of this season, into the final week of this high school regular season. But we saw an emphatic response from them after the first play of the game into getting those 38 points in that first half. Would expect a lot of the same on this next coming plays.
Glasson with the football. Barkley there for the stop. Good pickup, but still very long way to go to pick up the first down, as it is third and long. Glasson got tackled just shy of the 40-yard line as Barkley came in and got him right in the hip.
That's Barkley on back-to-back plays, getting into the backfield. The one previously on the broken play where Clayton Brown dropped the ball via a fumble. It was Barkley getting in, getting him down, and then there on the second down attempt, it was Barkley again. So the utility player, the senior, doing it all for Frankfort tonight in his effort on special teams, on offense, and on defense.
Warren shotgun formation once more. Got quite a ways to go. It's the option to pitch out to Glasson, working the sideline, blockers upfield, and pushes his way across the first down marker just like that. You had a 17-yard loss. And then in two plays, it's the Chargers getting the first down without even having to go to fourth down to get it. That is quite the third down conversion to pick up, and who else but Glasson to do exactly that.
It's usually a problem when you go to the short side of the field. If you're on the right hash, going to the right sideline, that boundary side of the field, and no one touches the ball carrier on third and forever until about 2 or 3 yards before the first down sticks. That just shows you how much this Frankfort defense has given up in their big plays tonight on defense.
Ball's back down on the grass again. The Hot Dogs, did they come away with it? Haven't seen the official signal from the referee, but the offense is coming off the field for the Chargers, and it will be Hot Dog football. Second turnover of the night that Frankfort's come away in the right end of.
Unforced errors are the name of the game so far for North Montgomery, and Frankfort has been right there to take advantage of it.
Daniel J. Cox coming up with that football. All right, last drive on offense. Hot Dogs came away with a touchdown. We'll see if they can make it 2 touchdowns in a row. Maddox Thomas back out to command the offense. Lozano in at running back this time. One of our keys to the game was take care of the football. Chargers have not done a fantastic job of that tonight, but fortunately for them, they're in a good place on the scoreboard. As a run goes for a loss of about a yard or two. Or, pardon me, it actually picks up 2 yards. So 2nd and 8 this time around. Barkley in motion, gets the pitch out wide, trying to set the edge with his blocker, slips across a few tacklers, and then gets pulled down out of bounds. Is that going to be a horse collar? Barkley and the coaching staff are asking for it. They're not getting it. Official says he was pulled down by the jersey. They'll get another look at it here.
And I think that was a right call by the official. As you can see there, that's all jersey, no pad right there. So that's in real time, the official doing a nice job pinpointing the tackle point of this North Montgomery defense, keeping the game clean, but nonetheless, another big gain for this Frankfort offense. And worth noting, Maddox Thomas, the now quarterback in the second half, doing a nice job being the conductor of this offense.
This time it's Broderick Kinsey behind Thomas, and Kinsey will get the carry. A little bobble of the football It looked like, anyways. There's a whole crowd of bodies around it. It can sometimes be hard to keep an eye on, but the Hot Dogs do hang on to it. Short gain on the play. So some of the positives we've seen here, we talked about this at halftime. What do you want to do in the second half of these games where you're down big? And some positives that we just saw from Frankfort in that third quarter. Will we see some more in the fourth? We'll find out after this.
The Willow Creek Barn has been voted the best of weddings on the knot for 4 years running. The Willow Creek Barn has earned its reputation for a reason. With breathtaking grounds, a stunning barn, and a staff that goes above and beyond, making sure that every detail is perfect, your wedding day will be seamless, joyful, and unforgettable. From the first look to the last dance, your happily ever after starts here. To book your dream wedding, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com.
Welcome to the fourth quarter at Frankfort High School. Hot Dogs down by 30 with the ball, 2nd and 8. Thomas in at quarterback. Run game has been strong here in the second half. Handoff goes up the middle again, and a nice little pickup. Third down, and it looks like about 5 or 6 yards. Here on the way next, Hot Dogs still looking for their first third down conversion of the evening. Barkley, 11 in blue. He's had a very good night on both sides of the ball for Frankfort. Jared, you and I both seen a lot of good things from him. He comes into the huddle off the sideline ahead of this third down try. Thomas goes under center again. Vega's the running back. He's got the lone touchdown for Frankfort. And Vega gets the football out to the left. Still on his feet. He's tough to bring down as he reverses field. Now we'll try to do it again, and this time he's finally going to be brought down by Hunter Powell, who got in on the tackle late. So a big loss there. Fourth down and quite a ways to go for the Hot Dogs. About 9 yards to get there as you get another look at that Vega run.
One thing I know about Vega's game, if he has to go lateral too much, that doesn't really play into his strengths. Trying to fight off one too many charging Chargers, and they were able to rally to him, forcing a big gain, forcing 4th and long.
A timeout from the Hot Dogs. We will get a stoppage in the clock. 10 minutes, 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter while we're in the timeout. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Day and Ginda Funeral Home. Tonight's game brought to you by Day and Ginda Funeral Home with locations at Frankfort, Flora, Mulberry, and Rossville. The compassionate and experienced staff at Day and Ginda Funeral Home are dedicated to providing a loving and genuine environment for you to honor your loved one. For more information on our services and community involvement, please visit dayandginda.com. Day and Ginda Funeral Homes, where we put family first. Also, Healthy Communities of Clinton County. Healthy Communities of Clinton County offers free navigation services for all pregnant women. A licensed nurse is available to help you with free pregnancy tests and prenatal vitamins, insurance assistance, prenatal appointment assistance, smoking or vaping cessation, breastfeeding, labor delivery, safe sleep, car seat, and newborn care education. You can give Libby a call at 765-659-6063 if you want some more information. And while we're here, also the Willow Creek Barn. Attention, all you engaged couples. Discover why the Willow Creek Barn's been voted the Knot's best of weddings for 4 years in a row. Nestled just outside Frankfort, Indiana, our venue offers stunning indoor and outdoor ceremony options with breathtaking photo opportunities. We provide the perfect backdrop for your dream barn wedding. To start planning your unforgettable day, visit thewillowcreekbarn.com. We are in the thick of the fall wedding season, so keep Willow Creek Barn in mind. As we've got a player in motion pre-snap, Maddox is going to pitch out to him. A little trickery is allowed downfield. Allen had it in and out of his hands. It touched the ground and falls incomplete. Quite the scheme from Kinsey there to pick it up on a 4th and long. Turns into a turnover on downs, and Allen didn't come away with that one, but as far as execution is concerned, That's exactly what Kinsey was trying to draw up in that timeout, I'd imagine.
Even when Darren Barkley isn't getting the football, very well could have went up and try and be the receiver on that pass from Jaden Davis. Already turned his head, allocating that football for Quincy Allen, was going to turn into a lead blocker, but Quincy Allen could not come down with it, because if he had, that would have been another hot dog touchdown. But the has-beens thus far for Frankfort tonight and this season not able to take advantage of all the plays that have played in their favor.
So a tough break as a late sub comes on here for Frankfort. Luis Madera coming out to join his mates in the line of scrimmage for that defensive line. Starter still in. Glasson trying to get a carry, shaking a few tacklers in the backfield, but is finally brought down for a loss on the play. He had Vega, one of the tacklers, getting up. Barkley in there as well, but he's shaken up on the play.
This defense is flying around in this second half. It's showing a spirited effort in this second half as the game before it goes final. You want to see, is your team going to continue to fight? And I think Coach Kinsey has his answer thus far in what he's seen from his bunch here in this third and fourth quarter.
There's a tackle for loss there for Dennis Barkley, who walks off the field. He was shaken up there. He's got 11 total tackles on the season coming to this one, playing as a linebacker for this 4-3 defense. Warren all alone out of the shotgun, finds Glasson on the far side of the field. Blockers downfield. He puts on the Jets to get across the first down marker inside the 45-yard line and into hot dog territory with that clock ticking away and the Chargers marching on offense with their starters still out on the field.
It's all about the vision and spatial awareness by Glasson. Dakota Glasson just doing a nice job as he gets out on the perimeter, puts Hayden Shipley in a doozy, forces him to penetrate the wrong gap, makes him wrong, picks up a nice block from Colin Zachary, once again allowing the blocks to develop before he's able to penetrate into the teeth of the defense, getting another first down for the Chargers.
Glasson again, up the near side. More room to work with. Lozano trailing him, and then Glasson eventually carried out of bounds by Jaden Davis. He is hard to bring down. Maybe that's why the jersey's not very dirty thus far tonight. The running back for the Chargers has been fantastic.
I was just going to say, I understand your point about why the jersey isn't dirty, but it's tough because when he has a lot of runs where he doesn't even hit the ground, that does a lot of explanation. But then you see the work that he's put into the box score and scoring multiple touchdowns tonight. That's all the explanation that you need.
It's been really the pulse of this offense. We highlighted Warren in the pregame, the quarterback. He's been fantastic tonight, but so much of this offense has been funneled through Glasson. And you're talking about a team coming into this one that's 0-7, carrying some momentum late into this season. I think the Chargers have definitely found something tonight as Brown catches it on the far side and is chased out of play by Allen.
And that finding something is putting the football in the hands of Jack Warren and allowing Dakota Glasson to be second fiddle to that. Because when you get chemistry in the backfield, everything else around them can fall into place. And that's what's been going on for Coach Josh Thompson and his North Montgomery team. They've gotten things rolling at the exact perfect time because here in the state of Indiana, everyone makes the playoffs. So you have an opportunity to play your best football at the end of the year, no matter what your record may say.
That's why it's so important to just continue to build on what you want to do as a football team. As Glasson gets a long delayed handoff here, puts the shoulder down and stumbles his way into the goal line. Barkley's trying to say he fumbled the football. If he did, it'd be a recovery and a touchback. And then on top of all of that, we've got a flag down on the field. And we'll see what the result is after the officials discuss what the penalty's going to be. It's a fantastic run from Glasson there again, just not allowing tacklers to bring him to the ground. Just get another look here at the delayed handoff.
Jack Warren doing a nice job riding the fake a little bit longer. Not sure what the penalty is, but by the time that ball crosses the goal line, already a touchdown. So it just depends on who is the penalty on. And if it's on the defense, was the call ruled a touchdown? Because if it was, that will stand and that penalty will be added on to the result of the play, which would be the kickoff.
So we just got a holding call on the offense is what I saw from one official. And I wonder if there was also a call on the hot dogs as well, and we might have offsetting penalties. And it looks like that's the case as the football is spotted right back at the 20-yard line. And I think we're going to redo second down here, Jared.
It's exactly what happens with those offsetting penalties. You just go back to the previous down and retry it.
So if Glasson, whether or not he's worried he fumbled there, he's either breathing a sigh of relief or he's bummed out that he didn't get the touchdown. Mitchell Myers in the backfield now. You see him step to the right of Warren. And a whistle now stops play right after that snap as Warren had thrown it to the outside. And that's a false start on the offense. So what would have been a touchdown, now the Chargers are working the wrong way downfield. Up by 30. Clock still ticking here in the fourth quarter. You mentioned it, Jared, a little bit ago. You just look at bigger picture here. It's been a disappointing year for the Chargers, 0-7. Worst start since 1998. But everybody makes the postseason. And when you just... This has to work wonders for a player, a team, their confidence when they're able to play the way they have tonight after going through a season that really just hasn't gone their way.
Not everything points to daisies and roses when it comes to winning in a program. There are going to be some hard times that fall on the backs of whatever team that is. And for Frankfort, you just have to believe that the effort that everyone continues to put forth this season will pay off in the long run as they get more talent in here, as they go into more seasons with Coach Justin Kinsey at the helm. So brighter days ahead for the Hot Dogs. This group of seniors just has to continue to pay it forward because it will pay off at some point in time.
Another penalty there. So the Chargers walking back even more. Just a few plays ago, it looked like they had a touchdown, but we're far from that. So it looks like head coach Josh Thompson is going a little bit deeper into his roster at this point of the game. Still a mix of starters out there, some fresh faces too. I mentioned you got Mitchell Myers in the game at running back. You got new wide receivers out of the field too. But quarterback Jack Warren remains in the game to orchestrate the offense. Out of shotgun formation, blitz coming, but Warren throws it along to the outside. Zachary on the catch and brought down by a couple of tacklers. Allen, one of them getting up off the turf.
Hayden Shipley doing a nice job flying in from a secondary position, understanding the stature of Colin Zachary, goes low, fights off the stiff arm, and gets him down for a 3rd and long attempt for his defense.
Hayden Shipley there with the initial contact to make the tackle, forcing the 3rd down. Imagine the way that the Chargers have played this game. This is 4-down territory, being this deep into the hot dog end of the field. We'll see if Frankfort can get a couple of stops here and have this defense get off the field as Glasson comes back out after a couple plays of rest. A pitch to the outside has him inside the 10-yard line, brought down at around the 6. And another player down, this time for the Hot Dogs. With clock continuing to tick with 3:28 left to play. Trying to figure out who that player is. It looks like that is Logan Light, who is hopping up on one leg now as the training staff comes out to tend to him, as he will try and walk off the field under his own power, which is he's doing so thus far. Obviously hope that Light is okay. Playing defense on punting duty. He's doing kickoffs as well. It was his leg that was behind the offside kick that the Hot Dogs tried to open things up in this game. It was unsuccessful, but the following play, a fumble was forced. Hot Dogs recovered that. We've seen a little bit of everything here tonight, late in this fourth quarter, as Glasson gets the carry up to the right, and this time is tackled by Barkley. Got a little bit beyond the line of scrimmage and brought down, as we have continued to see Darren Barkley make plays all over the field for the Hot Dogs. That's a closer look at the jersey for Glasson. There's a few grass stains on there. Gotta give credit where credit's due. And jersey watch for number 4.
And have to do so when he's the number 1 guy in the run department for the charging Chargers. He's going to be the workhorse, the one that totes the rock the most. And when you watch him play, everything he does is full speed, getting downhill, just puts his foot in the ground and accelerates with such speed as he receives another one, gets into the end zone for what will be another touchdown for North Montgomery.
Glasson's got another touchdown to put in the box score tonight, coming off the option of the pitch out to the right. Chargers continuing to have success offensively. And we'll see how well they can build on that as we get toward the end of the regular season Indiana high school football. It's one more game that's coming up for North Montgomery, as is the same for Frankfort. For the Hot Dogs, they're on the road at Crawfordsville. And who knows, if you alluded to it a couple times, Jared, who knows what's going to happen in the postseason. North Montgomery going to go for 2 here, as they've done all night. It'll be interesting to see what the play call is. I believe they've only had 1 2-point conversion be unsuccessful. So Jack Warren will drop back to pass from just a couple of yards out. Will throw toward the end zone, and it is in and out of the hands of his intended target. 2-point conversion coming up empty there as Tyler Thompson was able to break free but not haul in the football for the catch. And while we wait for the next kickoff, broadcast tonight brought to you by Montgomery Telecommunications. Let us be the first to welcome you to the Fiberhood. Mintel Fiber Optic Services offers super fast, reliable internet with gigabit speeds, streaming TV packages, and voice solutions. Sign up today at mintel.net or call 765-296-2885 for more information. So the Chargers, 91 seconds left here in the fourth quarter, on their way to a 1-7 record, getting their first win of the season. As things have not exactly gone to plan when you just look at the record for head coach Josh Thompson, but things are a little bit different this year, scheduling-wise. First year of the Monon Conference, and there's some good teams out of that conference. And you look at both these teams' schedules, it shows that they're playing some top-tier talent in the state of Indiana. But to get a win is absolutely an accomplishment for this Chargers team, a very good win at that as well as far as the performance goes. Not a whole lot of issues if you want to be picky. There's some fumbling stuff. They had that safety, a couple flags that didn't go their way, Jared. But other than that, pretty complete performance that we saw tonight as Barkley, another big kickoff return up near the 50-yard line. And that young man's starting to become a threat in these special team situations.
Doing an outstanding job on senior night. Once again, anytime you kick it to him, he is a threat to break one. He's just that dynamic coming out of any backfield, whether that's special teams or offense, and the senior laying it all out on the field as he literally goes down with what looks to be a lower body injury.
Yeah, just off your screen to the right, Barkley's got a teammate. I believe that is Vega, touchdown scorer, and also trying to help stretch out the right leg of Barkley. I wonder if that's a cramp because he got up just fine. You don't want to speculate too much being up here in the press box, but he got up just fine for the kickoff return. Even had some words for the guy who tackled him. He's a competitive kid, and then just went back into the huddle and then went down and immediately asked for somebody to help stretch him.
When you've had as much output as he's had tonight, you would imagine the body is going to pay a hefty price, and he's made it all the way into the final seconds of this fourth quarter, but an outstanding job in what he's been able to do with the football in his hands as a defender, as a special teams guy, just all over the field for Frankfort.
Yeah, there can't have been very many snaps where he wasn't on the field. Yeah, guys who play both ways in high school ball. You also have kids, as Dooley tries to heave a pass. First time we're seeing him in the second half, and it's hauled in for a big gain of the play. That's a great catch there by Jaden Davis, who does have a touchdown on the season. We got Barkley playing offense, defense, and special teams, as you mentioned. He's even punted at times this year as Dooley back in at shotgun, scrambling away from some pressure. Now we'll try to scramble away from some tacklers. Dooley up the sideline is tackled from behind as he goes out of bounds.
Something that everyone should pay attention to moving forward the rest of this season is, does Coach Justin Kinsey go to a 2-quarterback system? Maddox Thomas gives you something of more dynamic speed at the quarterback position. Kiefer Dooley gives you more of a pass threat, so playing the two off of one another could be the answer to more consistent offensive flow.
A timeout called here as the Hot Dogs, they've now got a scoring chance in just 2 plays. Big completion from Dooley, then a scramble from Dooley. 32.2 left in the half. The Hot Dogs are trying to score their second touchdown of the evening. That would match their season high for most touchdowns scored in a game. Obviously, they did it a week ago. Jared, you were here for that.
12 points in a game that was 29-12 at halftime. got a big-time pass completion to Josh Taylor after they had already gotten an 80-yard run from Jaden Davis. There was a lot of expectation after what these fans had saw in the first half for them to keep it up in the second, but I'm sure they would have liked to have seen tonight's second half with last week's first half. But once again, you have to find a way to get all sides of the game and football on the same page on the same night, and that's been the biggest test for Coach Kinsey and his bunch.
Kiefer Dooley, one of those seniors on senior night, coming back out for this drive. We haven't seen him at all here in the second half. He'll heave one downfield into double coverage, and it's intercepted. The Chargers coming away with the football. Caden Cohey, who had a big punt return earlier in this one as the play is whistled dead. Cohey on the interception, caught it out of the end zone, started jogging downfield, and then heard whistles and came to a stop. And that drive will come to a close. It looks like the clock is going to run out in this one as well. Chargers getting their first win of the season and doing it on the road for the Hot Dogs. Another loss, but some more progress in Kinsey's first year at the helm of this program. 44-8 is going to be your final score as the teams will dap each other up to end this game. There's a good sign of sportsmanship there. And don't go anywhere. We've got your post-game show coming up right around the corner on the ISC Sports Network.
Welcome to Trinity Hope Center. Here we are actively engaged in our recovery community with a multitude of activities including peer recovery coaching, a full computer lab, grief groups, relapse prevention, pre- and postnatal support group, educational workshops for family members with addicted loved ones, expungent workshops, parent cafes, Saturday pro-social activities, recovery walk club, book club, and even video game nights. For more information, give us a call at 765-250-1845.
To 8's your final score as you get a good look at the highlights from earlier this game as we're in the post-game show brought to you by the Willow Creek Barn, where nature's beauty meets rustic elegance. I'm Harrison Silcox. Got Jared Thomas with me here as we walk you through the post-game show tonight, and we'll just get right into our player of the game. You'll see him flash on here a couple times. This is Vega, who had the only touchdown of the night for the Hot Dogs. He's not our player of the game, though. It's brought to you by the Frankfurt Eagles. Player of the game, we talked about this just a little bit ago. Darren Barkley, everywhere tonight, all three phases of the game.
The only time that he went down in his effort and in his mentality was right there at the end when he started to cramp after a big special teams return. But that guy has been flashes for this team the last 2 weeks that I've saw them in action, but really the entirety of the season, the senior laying it all on the line. That explains why he's our player of the game, because not all heroes have to be in the touchdown, for the end zone, for whatever else you may think is explosive plays, but consistently contributing to winning football, and that's exactly who Darren Barkley is.
Darren Barkley, your player of the game, brought to you by the Frankfurt Eagles. Hot Dogs go down once again 44-8, the final. They move to 0-8 on the season. North Montgomery gets their first win. They bump up to 1-7 on the year. It is Crawfordsville up next for Frankfurt. Once again, your final score 44-8. Jared Thomas with me up in the booth tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. We thank those of you who tuned in tonight. And also a big thank you to our crew here on Hot Dog TV. As always, it's been a pleasure. One more time, final score, 44-8.
We've all heard the question, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? Honestly, we're not sure either. But what we do know is that if it falls in your yard, it usually leaves behind an unsightly stump that you'll be stuck mowing around. At JXN Stump Solutions, we'll get rid of that stump for good, and here's the best part. We offer free estimates, so you'll know the cost before the work begins. We deliver quality work from a professional, locally owned company with a commitment to leaving your property cleaner, safer, and stump-free. Contact us today at 242-9523. At JXN Stump Solutions, we're rooted in service and driven to remove.